Our first opponents are going to be forZe and probably Fnatic or Dark Zero. It's a good group, mostly Fnatic and forZe. forZe it's not in Pro League, but they showed like us to be a really strong team. They play just like they have the same play style as Empire, so it's going to be a tough game for us. And Fnatic and Dark Zero are both good teams, and we need to watch out to play against them. So yeah, they're a good 3 teams.
I'd say our only weakness at the moment would be small decision-making ones or just personal mistakes, which are still very easy to fix, and even small mistake from any player can cost rounds. There's no one in our group that really scares us. I think that forZe is a bit of a dark horse in this tournament, but we're not afraid of anyone, and we can back ourselves to beat anyone here.
Of course, we can win every team in this tournament, but it will be really hard for us. The most dangerous team in our group, I think, is Dark Zero.
To prepare for the major, we kind of just refined a lot of our strategies. We kind of simplified things. Instead of having just like a bunch of strategies as we've had in the past, we've mastered a lot of like simple strategies, but we definitely still have some things up our sleeve that we're ready to show. To the group stage opponents, just don't underestimate us. We're definitely going to be swinging. I know we haven't showed any results at a LAN recently, but we're definitely ready to show what we have.
Well, it's a lot of talk. Let's see who can back it up.
Yeah.
Fnatic said they weren't scared of anyone, and yet they dropped their first game 2-0 to
They weren't scared when they did it.
No, they weren't scared at all, and yet Dark Zero prevailed. So we'll see who comes out as the second 1-0 team here in Group D between FaZe and forZe. Russian team, like I think that was that Mav or Astra? Oh, that was Cameraman, right?
Yeah, I was talking about that it's similar to Empire for a good
Similar
reason.
to
You got Shockwave from Empire, bringing out obviously the Empire influence, and I think they've done a good job of kind of being the apprentice Empire in a way.
Mm-hmm. Russian teams. Let's take a look at the FaZe roster first, the Latin American powerhouse. It's Mav, Astro, Cameraman. It was Cameraman. I'm an idiot. Yuna and Ion. I mean, this is the team that has notoriously made their way to a lot of LANs and come up just short in quite a lot of them.
Just short means pretty far, though.
I mean, a couple of them. I mean, what, semis of SI-18, finals of Rio. Obviously, they got bounced in groups at SI-19.
That wasn't great.
They made it to semis of Milan. You know, there are LAN events that they've made it to internationally.
They're making it a lot further than most of the other Latin American teams, though, let's be fair.
And then, of course, for forZe, we have Shockwave, WTG, Pasha, Kama, and Rask. So obviously a substitution there as well. Shangri not hanging around anymore.
Nope.
There was confusion as well online. First off, they said that they were benching him, and then they said that he couldn't get a visa. So no idea what's going to happen with the forZe roster once we go back to EU for Challenger League coming up in the later months of the year. But hey, right now, this is the team that's in front of them. This is the team that's here. And forZe, they made it here to the online qualifiers, taking down extremely talented teams like Vitality, like Chaos, like Sisu.
Yeah.
You know,
quite a forZe to be reckoned with. I had to say it once.
I hate you.
I
hate you so much.
Let's see where they're going to play at.
Let's see where they're going. We're going to lose Bank and Border off rip. No surprise there. And Bank, a Latin American heavy map. Border, obviously, a powerful map for Empire, so they're thinking. But forZe also get to pick Clubhouse out of that. And Clubhouse is a map that Empire are notoriously one of the best teams in the world on.
Yeah.
Villa going to be map number 2 out of FaZe. That's a bit of a wild card there. Coast banned out by forZe. Also a little interesting.
Consulate, all right.
And Consulate will be our decider should we need it. And usually, I'm saying, yeah, we're going 3. Today, it's been a bit of a weird one. We've had a lot of 2-0s. So I don't know how to feel heading into this one, considering how much of an unknown quantity forZe is. And FaZe, like you said, they've had mishaps at LANs.
Yeah.
So which FaZe are we going to see today? Is it going to be the FaZe that, yeah, made it all the way to the finals in Rio, made it to the semis in Milan? You know, is it going to be the team that has lost out in groups at SI-19? You know, what kind of FaZe are we going to see today?
I don't know. I mean,
that dictates it.
I think a lot of people were underappreciating forZe's power because they lost to Chaos in the quals and then came back and won. They won very strong. I believe it was a 2-0 to Chaos in the quals at the end.
Yeah.
When they finally rematch, showed they can be really underestimated as a team. But at the same time, FaZe have got the experience to make this happen. But I don't know, are they really going to be able to come up so strong against the unknown? And both these teams very aggressive. So I got to imagine some of these rounds might be pretty swift. But you never know. Like, it could just come down to gunfights and slugging it out and hoping they can kind of win off reflexes. Or we could see a really slowed down match where both teams just try and figure out what the other one's doing. It really could go either way. I feel like with these two teams, though, it might go the former way in a lot of gun battles, just kind of deciding some of the early rounds till they figure things out. But Clubhouse will be interesting. FaZe have not shown much Clubhouse. They played it once during Pro League, and it was against Red Devils. So you know they weren't showing a whole lot of their strongest stuff, just because Red Devils has not been much of a formidable opponent, unfortunately. Whereas forZe, I believe this map is one of the ones that got them here. I believe it was one of the ones they beat Chaos on to get to this event. So they definitely shown they are good at it against one of the best teams in Europe. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And of course, it was their map pick, so not a surprise there. But the next two maps after that should be especially interesting, Villa and Consulate. If we get to Consulate, thankfully the curse has been broken, so now we can have it either way. It could be 2-0, could be 2-1. You never know now, so should be interesting. We are waiting for the FaZe players to be able to get all up in the lobby. Just getting set up on that, but shouldn't be too long before they get cracking. But this is definitely, I think, one of the matches to look forward to in terms of just unexpected results. We don't really know how this is going to go at all. I'm sure most people favoring FaZe.
Yeah.
They're much more the known quantity. But at the same time, if you're thinking along the lines of Empire, you might also be favoring forZe because Empire are beasts, and this is almost their spawn in a way.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a team that is also coming out of Russia, and obviously there's different metas between regions, and Russia clearly has their own play style, their own way that they play, as experienced and evidenced by both Empire and forZe and other Russian teams that have played in like the Russian Major League. So there's clearly a play style there that they enjoy that seems to rip apart a lot of the international competition and seems to really, I don't know, just throw a lot of teams off.
Yeah.
It's unexpected. So I don't think anyone's really counting forZe out for the count early. I think that it really comes down to FaZe and how well they play. forZe is going to put their best foot forward, and we're finally going to see them on an international stage really show what they've got to give. They are a team that just made it into CL, so they're not even a Pro League team. So this is the second team here that we've seen today on the B stream that is not in Pro League against the incumbent, sometimes number 1, sometimes number 2 seed.
That's because Europe is really tight Pro League to get into. So it does take a while to get in there because even the Challenger League is quite the battle.
Yep.
But I don't know, the way that some of the Pro League teams in Europe have been playing, Zizou, could see some new blood in there come next season.
Yeah, I mean, you've got teams like Secret and forZe both in EUCL.
Yeah.
It's
very likely one of those make it in.
Very likely, but you never know. There's also other teams like BDS, the French team.
Yeah.
That's that's basically just a bunch of former French Pro League players together on a team. So
Europe is pretty stacked.
Europe is incredibly stacked for the CL region, so I wouldn't be at all shocked to see forZe or Secret make it back, but it could be someone off the board.
But forZe is showing why we have the open qualifiers. So we can have these wild card teams that can go up against Pro League teams like Chaos, can prove they can earn a spot in these major events and compete. Now, of course, is the real test. They're here. They're about to play one of the best teams in the world, one of the best teams by far in Latin America. That's it. This is the test to show whether or not they are a team to be constantly watched in Challenger League, or if they've just had a bit of fluke luck running up to this.
Well, we'll see if the curse holds true. If we're going to go deep on the final game of the day, as notoriously I have in every event that I've gone to and casted. The last game of the day always takes the longest, and finally we're getting a couple FaZe members in. So hopefully we can get underway on Clubhouse, map number 1 between FaZe and forZe pretty soon.
Yep.
I imagine with this delay that the A stream is almost underway between Norengo and MIBR. So we'll have 2 Latin American teams in action at the same time.
You can see down at the bottom of the screen there the information about Norengo as well. It says due to an illness, Mario would be temporarily replaced by the coach, Kazaku. So that should be very interesting to watch as well. Obviously, you can multi-twitch it. You can watch VODs of that match later as well. Stick around here for what should be a good match. But it's definitely hard for Japan, who already lost one of their teams down to losers bracket with Cyclops, losing pretty badly to G2. Now Norengo are going to have to play with the man down. It's ironic given that we've had a situation like that before with Waka going in and out of the hospital during, I think it was it might have been Paris. Thinking of it was either Paris or SI or something like that, where they've just had these problems with illnesses in the Japanese players and having to shuffle things around at the last minute. But I guess that's similar to the situation where Magnet had his illness, couldn't come out, and Dizzle had to play for him. And we saw how that went, so you never know. Kazaku might really show up for his team as well on that. But over on this team, as you said, there was at least some change-ups on forZe's side. FaZe, however, playing with a very strong team they've been playing with, and I imagine no change-ups there. It's just a strong team.
Yeah, and for this one, I think that the maps really lend themselves towards forZe off rip. I mean, you don't really know how to drop the game plan for this one. This could be wild aggression on both sides. This could be an absolute shootout, or this could be both teams playing it rather safe. But as we've done enough stalling, we have all the members in the lobby. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to map number 1 of our last game of the day here on the B stream for day 1 of the Raleigh Major group stage. It's FaZe, it's forZe. We're jumping into Clubhouse.
Should be a good one. This is where the bans get interesting. Which hard breachers will be banned? Will there be more than one banned? You can't ban all 3, but you could ban 2, and that keeps it interesting. We had a Maverick banned earlier. That certainly made it a little bit interesting, but Thatcher bans also tend to do that. We'll see the Mav band go out. Will we see a Thatcher band followed up? Will it be Capitao? Will it be Monty even? Is something that we've seen occasionally on Clubhouse. A lot of question marks on the second one. Defense bans tend to be a little more predictable, but Cap, there it is. So what will be the defensive bans? Probably Echo or Maestro.
Considering how much Latin America hates Maestro, I'd imagine FaZe to take that off.
That would make sense.
EU hates Mira, so Mira? Just going by regional trends here, you never know. You might see something wild, but I wouldn't.
We've seen Valkyrie kind of be the random one sometimes to come in, as opposed to just the traditional 2.
It's a pretty strong counter ban, but now it's going to be an Echo ban, so Maestro will remain up, in contrary to typical Latin American fashion.
He's a good operator on this map in particular. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if there's a map where he's not a good operator.
It's not really a bad map for Maestro, no.
No, he's strong everywhere.
It's not really a bad map for Echo now either.
It's true.
They're just kind of good at what they do. So pick your poison. Yep. What do you want to die by? There you go. Starting off with FaZe on the defense on Clubhouse, I would say notoriously that would give you an advantage, but I mean, Latin America plays Clubhouse kind of differently. There's a lot of roaming involved on defenses on Clubhouse in Latin America, and also it's forZe. If we're gonna say that forZe play a lot like Empire, well, Empire run both sides of Clubhouse like it the back of their hand.
If they play anything like Empire, and we saw what Empire did to LFOs, now Vodafone Giants, roam on Clubhouse at the final play day, I wouldn't worry too much if I'm forZe about a heavy roam.
Yeah.
But in this case, obviously they'll be on, fighting for Church. So the question, do FaZe overextend themselves the way that Vodafone Giants did and then risk losing players to a swift clear? Or are they going to play it more turtle first and just kind of see, feel out how forZe play it? I mean, it's up to them really what they want to do in terms of how aggressive they want to start things off. Sometimes it's good to just really start aggressive. I mean, there's definitely an argument to be made for going for spawn peaks first round just to really try and tilt your opponents. Make them think, oh, it's going to be like this, huh?
Well, Mav's going to be starting over inside a strip, so we're getting some kind of roaming presence at the very least.
Yeah.
Never mind, that might just be a footprint bait. If forZe were going to bring a Jackal, but much like their Russian brethren in Empire, not a lot of, intricate utilities being brought on the attacking side. Very standard operators trying to keep things as simple as possible. I don't think we'll see much deviation here for forZe on the operator lineups on the attack either. This is probably going to be the 5. Maybe they'll bring out a 6th attacking operator to cycle in every round, but I mean, outside of that, this is probably your core lineup for forZe, and it's not going to change.
No. Versus
like the game we just saw between SSG and the Giants, where on border and coast there was a lot of cycling through operators.
Yeah, definitely. If it's anything like Empire, they rarely change up their attack operators. They just kind of stick with them, and I mean, they also don't change up the strats that much either. So they definitely will play with what they know and just try and focus on strong execution. See if they're going to go for the same thing. Just get hatches open here. There is the Habon available, so they can get plenty of hatches open. It's just down to the Maverick ban. And that's going to affect maybe Cash more than anything else. There's no Kaid, though, coming out here, so it's interesting that FaZe would ban Maverick and then not play Kaid on Church. That's a weird choice, but
you never know. We've seen the Thatcher have great effect against the Kaids on the hatch tricking. Just really hasn't brought a whole lot of fruit. So this angle is super old.
It's a good one, though.
It's a very good one. It's a very old angle, but it's a very good angle. Cameraman, though, will start things off on a Shockwave, the former Empire member. Looks like he was trying to push Oil Pit. Yes, he was. There goes your Zofia. Shockwave as well getting to play, I guess, some more fragging operators in comparison to what he was allowed to play on Empire, but he's not having much effect here in at least round number 1, and pretty quick to the round. 2 minutes deep, and it's FaZe in the driver's seat right now. forZe not having a whole lot of progression, taking a lot of damage there with WTG on the Thatcher inside a garage as well. Cameraman doing a very good job at locking this down single-handedly.
Oh, nice try. Had he peeked slightly later when the shooting had stopped, might have been able to get away with that. But this is at least distracting Cameraman, who doesn't know if he downed him or not. Mav, in the meantime, though, definitely downs Pasha. Cameraman at half health now, but already just 2v4. Rask does at least get one. That's the smoke down. Good kill. Finishes off Mav as well. Fortunately, he gets downed to oh, Cameraman with the finish. I think 2 of those were downed players as well.
They were. So I believe that's a 4K to start things off with some fireworks here for Cameraman. I am super lost as to what Kama thinks he was doing with Diffuser. You saw Rask getting those picks onto the members inside a church with the partially opened wall, and you know, okay, let's keep barreling in for a church push there. And if you still think you need to clear out blue, then by all means, but don't take the Diffuser with you.
He's trying to bring it as an offering to Cameraman.
I guess, but hey, FaZe start things off the proper direction here on Clubhouse, at least for how interregionally we typically see things break down on this map, which is defense is supposed to win a crap ton of rounds. And we're going to have FaZe go to gym and bedroom. Interesting. No CCTV or cache selection, at least as the secondary site. Yuna is going to use the ever most popular 6-pick from Cade to Cade, so good work there. And yeah, it was a 4K there from Cameraman. And after he gets a 4K with the 416, he's going to say, screw that. All I need is a UMP. It's going to take up the castle and Astro and not pick up the 416. Honestly, between Cameraman and FaZe. Or sorry, Cameraman and Astro for FaZe. Either one, interchangeable. Yeah. Who really cares who's using the 416? They're both going to grab a bunch of kills.
Astro definitely plays that a lot, though. I can understand why you'd want to have them on it.
Yeah.
It's good that they're bringing the Kaid this time, though. They've got the Bandit to be able to cover the, if they want to, cover the wall on the server side, and then the Kaid to be able to cover the hot tub wall because he can throw it from a distance, a little safer. They do have the castle, though, so they could even have that to where he's playing Bandit on the hot tub wall. Looks like they're prepping the castle barricade with the number of hits to have one left if they need to go through it, which is always nice. Quick way to get through if you need to.
Well, that was early there from Pasha. He spawns main gate, immediately shoots X-Kairos onto the castle window on gym window.
Wow.
Straight out of spawn, that thing's gone. So you still have 2 impacts remaining for Shockwave to use on the Zofia, so you can use one to get the castle barricade that Mav was prepping. And then you can use the second one to get the bandits off if there's a deployable in the way, or get the deployable out of the way entirely.
Good use of utility there. You don't really necessarily need all of those X-Kairos. So.
Yeah.
Oh, the wall on the server is actually going to be soft with the bottom of it opened up. So that should be interesting. They have Buck and Zofia, though, to be able to open that up further and just make it easy. So I don't think that's going to be a huge impediment. But actually, in the meantime, Pasha's just using it as an angle with his rappel. Don't know if they have any kind of coverage on the garage door to make sure there's no runouts on them, but you don't expect them as much when you're playing against Gym Bedroom.
Well, the big thing here is to stop the server window peek, making sure that no one's going to come and peek anyone onto the balcony. And Astro, though, will take down Rask. So the opening pick, again, lending its way towards FaZe, and again off the 416. This time it's Astro picking that one up instead of Cameraman. Shockwave, though, will trade right back onto Ion. There goes your smoke. Good opening pick there for forZe on their side. So you lose a buck, you trade out a smoke. At this point in the round, I'd say that's pretty even. Frag grenades and soft destruction versus plant denial.
They've got this wall open, too. That's definitely a big play at this time in the round to have a minute and a half almost left to make this push, as well as having the smoke down. They just need to take care of this bandit. This is where they're really going to struggle. Oh, what was that? A little bit of misplay there from Kama, who turns at the wrong second, misses with the flash, but does get it down here by, well, actually might have got eaten by an ADS.
Does have a bit of free entry there, and a jump out from Cameraman will not be successful. Good reaction there from Shockwave, and now the thermite charge coming out, but Astro will take down WTG, the thermite cover, and he's low on HP, so he has to retreat and can't go for the second one onto Kama. And this is a very spread out attack remaining here for forZe, as Pasha was on the flank hold, making sure no one would peek server window, and he's got to rotate over to join Kama, as Shockwave still holds down the south balcony outside of the master windows. Yeah, Pasha's still on the rotate with 35 left, and a giant run out here, but he downs him with the bearing. Pasha left on 1 HP, throws a flashbang at him for good measure, just to add insult to injury. So now this will have to be a rotate quickly. Una will shoot right through Shockwave, turning the corner, and a no, not almost another one there. Mav will take down Kama, though, he tries to push in solo into the site. A 1v1 between Mav and Pasha on low HP. Turning the corner, he's got nothing left in the bearing. He has to use the type. He just misses Mav on the main stairs. And as he rushes into Jim to try and get the plant down, there should be the perfect cue for Mav to come soaring up the stairs and make sure Pasha doesn't have time to establish an angle after the plant is completed. They push right through one another, but Pasha on the pull-off and the pre-fire. forZe will equalize there on the backs of a 1v1 out of pure desperation. And honestly, the wild spray from the bearing, the only reason they got that.
Yeah, I love how he goes from covering an angle to just like rappelling up and having to fight with the bearing across a long distance on a run out that should have easily killed him. And then that flick around there, just barely missing everyone as he runs into sight. And just the slight amount of hesitation from Mav costs FaZe. I feel like I'm gonna switch those two names on accident at least 3 times. FaZe and FaZe are so close. But well played by Pasha. Definitely saving that round in a round that really should have gone FaZe's way. But maybe a little overconfidence from FaZe, backfiring a little bit.
So we move our way over now to CCTV and cash, as there's not really a whole lot to say about that gym bedroom defense other than it came down to the wire, and I guess FaZe don't want to run it back.
I like some of the efficiency, though, that they had in opening the window early with the X-Kairos, and then opening the hot tub wall in the first minute and a half. It was good efficiency in opening up gym as early as possible, basically, and that gave them enough time for that play to happen at the end, but yeah, they lost maybe a bit too many gunfights in the middle, but at least a lot of them were trades, and we'll see how it goes for Cash, though. This is a site that should go a little bit better for FaZe. In theory, gym bedroom is a tough one to do well.
I will say that bearing 9 spray was probably some of the ugliest gunplay I've seen all day.
that was a slot machine right there.
It's one for the ages right there. But rotation now from FaZe. They say gym bedroom, you know, it came down to the wire, but still, I mean, realistically, if the bandit is like, I don't know, 2 seconds quicker on the rotate, that's probably over. I'd say 2 seconds is fair.
Yeah.
It comes down to milliseconds on that one, honestly. Like, Pasha on the pull-off and the pre-fire. He had 12 bullets left in the mag. Mav just waited an extra second as well.
Right.
It's either go early or go later. But
yeah.
The exact time he did, Pasha with the pre-fire was able to win it out.
It was those moments where just he was living on pure adrenaline.
Yep. I mean, there's no intel to be able to tell you that.
No.
Where the plant's at. There was no visibility in the objective, so it's a tough break there for Mav and a tough break for FaZe as they're looking to take 2 in a row. And Kama, I like this drone. So it's on the other side of the map. He's looking for anyone to be inside a strip through the drone hole, making sure no one's going to run out on his man outside the front door.
Yeah, that's a good play here. Obviously, you got to wait to have the right timing here on the bandit. They've got the, oh, there we go. At least one battery going to go to the Thatcher. Pasha, in the meantime, actually takes out Astro. So no first kill from the 416 this round, but Pasha took a lot of damage in the process. Kama also taking a bit from the batteries, but it looks like the battery might got him down on the wrong side of the wall. Fortunately for Cameraman, does not play it correctly.
So Cameraman's going to have to peel right on back, and they actually barricade up the door behind him as well, just for good measure. The concussions, and the impacts come soaring in now from the lifeline. And Pasha on low HP is still on strip roof, waiting for the runs, and now those Excaliburs will detonate as he launched them all the way from the strip roof, all the way over to the back of the garage wall. Reinforcements downstairs. So for FaZe here, it's time to bunker up, hold your angles, and win your gunfights. You got 70 seconds to kill, and make sure you don't lose garage control. And Yuna is doing his best work at that, but Cameraman's also doing his best work at throwing his life away.
Yuna only survived because he was boosted up.
As well, inside of Rafters, Yuna in the midst of quite the perilous gunfight. That is just the worst flash grenade I think I've ever seen.
That was the second worst. The first one was with, on the bathroom attack.
Very true. And that's a frag grenade comes soaring over. That'll down and finish off Yuna here at the hands of the C8 with Rask. So Yuna will fall, and now it's Ion and Mav left in a 2v5. They lost a lot of engagements here in 1v1 gunfights, and unfortunately for a lot of the members on forZe, however, they are low on HP. This Alda could chew through quite a few members, all piling in through one orifice.
Well, they just have to play a little bit of patience now, 30 seconds left, but they've got to maintain angles on server. Mav at least taking down Pasha. That's a good early pick. You also could potentially finish off Shockwave. He's got such low health left. But in the meantime, Plant is potentially going down, and there is coverage. Shockwave takes down Mav, and WTG to finish it off on Ion. FaZe, after a strong starting round, falling apart here due to players like Pasha with some good plays, and then just a bit of misplay in terms of trying to stop the wall from getting open. Bandit tricking the wrong side, ultimately costing them a lot of their defense, and then just losing gunfight after gunfight, despite even the misplays with the flashbangs, still losing the Rafters there.
The run out onto the balcony as well seemed rather ill-advised. There were a lot of members for forZe still out there, so
hello.
FaZe took a swing. Didn't really work out all that well for them on that round, so now they'll be allowed to go back downstairs. So you have it in a 1v1 into the overtime that FaZe lose on Gym Bedroom, and then CCTV and Cash not nearly as close. So they'll go back down to the one site that they have won so far today, and after I said that Clubhouse was starting off the, I guess, traditional way, we've gone a little off track, as that's 2 back-to-back attacking rounds, 1 for forZe.
Pretty impressive so far. This is their map pick, though, so it's not as unusual, but defense can be pretty strong on this map in particular. And it just seems like FaZe have just really not been able to find a lot of success outside of the first church defense. Maybe it won't work this time, though. We saw Shockwave die a little bit early, and then some misplays in blue and the oil pit in general really cost them, and a lot of good plays from Cameraman. Some of that stuff might not be as easily repeatable this round, so we could see a different outcome from forZe if they're able to play it a little bit swifter and smarter this time, especially if they're able to do a bit more to pressure Cameraman out of blue, or at least keep him locked in place to an extent. They don't really have any roam control operators, but you don't necessarily need them so much for this map, although it is a great idea to have against any Latin American team on this map. Cameraman actually is going to go for a little bit of a rotate up into the garage doorway. He can rotate back down blue if he needs to, and that's what he's going to do potentially if he feels slightly threatened here. There is WTG somewhat nearby, as well as Shockwave. They are starting to pressure from garage drones coming out. Cameraman's going to get spotted, so he just goes back down to blue, as he should. At least a follow-up drone from Kama, though. Gonna verify that he did so they know that they are able to safely take the lounge and garage now. Rask also taking the main hallway. They have cleared the top now for the most part, it looks like, so they can start to get map presence and open up patches.
Yeah, it's been a pretty solid start here for forZe entering in. Not a lot of resistance to deal with. And, I was expecting maybe a little more presence upstairs, just the way FaZe notoriously play, and all of Latin America really play Clubhouse.
Yeah.
They like to stretch a little bit more, but honestly, FaZe playing this, I guess, a little more standard to the international scene, which is everyone plays on site. So, yeah. At least for the NA, EU, and APAC. Well, it depends on which sub-region of APAC.
That's very true.
So WTG holding down blue, and hopefully there's no early press in here as Cameraman once again on the Jaeger holding blue solo. And last time he did a remarkable job picking up 4 kills in the process. And he nearly gets caught off by WTG on the rotate in behind the generator. He'll be droned out and pushed all the way back into church. WTG will take this ground.
This is much better than last time, where they really did not have much control over blue.
Looks like Camera's going to try and swing back around to try and reclaim control from behind the generator, but these drones from forZe, very reminiscent of Empire's drones as well, where they're non-stop smothering and they never really get found out. Cameraman now laying prone behind the jukebox as he rotates behind the reinforcement. You're looking off. Beautiful anticipation there from Shockwave on the pre-fire, knowing that Cameraman was going to rip right past the rotate. More shots come raining in. Looks like one of those bullets landed onto Ion, the smoke inside of Church as well. And he cannot find the head of Mav in behind the bomb. He's actually all the way behind Black Box right now. A little bit of team flashing coming out and just missing the side there. Finally, Shockwave, a second one now onto Ion, swinging around the corner, and Astro will trade him back out. 2 now for Astro, going huge inside of Blue. It's a battle for Blue this entire game. Kama will trade out Yuna, Mav on a trade. It's all back and forth. Kama will drop Astro now down to a 1v2 for Mav to fight out of. In behind the bar, pressure from both sides now, right and left. One bearing down the hallway, and Nitro Cell won't connect either. He's trying to prone his way back out, hitting Legion Mine inside of Moto, turning the corner, but the ping just late. Now they dance around the corner with each other, and Kama will push in from the main hallway. Oh my, this man is excited. FaZe up 3-1. That was quite the scream.
I liked the rotate, though, using the hole that they opened as your rotate. That was a great idea, but as soon as they looked around the minibar, and they're like, hey, he not here, guys. And they will turn around like, I know where he's at. And Kama just finishes it.
I know where you are.
Hey, wait a minute. Who's here for a drink?
So, FaZe going to take a tack timeout off of that one.
It seems appropriate at this point.
Yeah, things are starting to slip away for them here. And barring that first round where FaZe really just threw themselves at the meat grinder that was Cameraman inside of Blue, outside of that, it's not been a lot going well for FaZe. That 1v1 on the gym bedroom defense was close. Very, very close, about as close as it could be. Last 2 rounds, though, have just been a snowball effect coming down against FaZe, and they really need to slow this down here.
Shockwave and Kama, though, definitely the stars of that last round. Shockwave's push onto Blue, the way he held it, I mean, he even got flashbang that was like, let me just tap fire and try and hold this as best I can. I mean, obviously he got pressured and the timing wasn't great in terms of the fact that he had to go for the reload just because of so much pre-fire. But just the way he held Blue on that generator, used the holes in the walls to be able to pressure all the way across Church, even towards the minibar itself. That was fantastic play. And then Kama just cleaned things up as best as he could the rest of that round. So that was the start that I would expect from this team if they're going to be anything like Empire. And if they can keep this rolling, it's going to be a tough fight for FaZe. However, things could reverse once the side switches. The aggression may not work as well for FaZe on the defense, but FaZe seem a little bit phased, really, at this point, in terms of just not being able to really pressure back with a lot of confidence actually working. You talk about runouts, things like that are just, well, that should have worked on Pasha. Just not. I mean, luck is not on their side. Pasha had the luckiest round of his life that round, and it's just, that's got to be tilting.
It's got to be. You know, this is a team that in the past has been characterized as pretty emotional. I would say FaZe is probably the more emotional team just because they're so new.
It's going to be excitement is the emotion they're feeling right now, I imagine.
Yeah, and when you have inexperienced teams, I mean, Shockwave obviously has been at the top for a while with Empire.
Yeah.
After he got dropped. Obviously, he brings a bit more of a level head to FaZe, but with newer teams, they're excited, they're energetic, they're eager. You know, and that could be something that could distract them or that could fuel them. We'll have to wait and see how they handle that kind of pressure. Because right now it's day 1, but this is a major. This is their first major for a lot of these guys. Shockwave's the only one on this team who's played at a major before.
He's probably trying to calm them down. Okay, guys, settle down.
Cool it. Okay. It's 3-1 on map 1. We kind of got to win a whole other map, even if we win this map.
I got to imagine if you're Shockwave, you're looking forward to somehow winding up facing Empire.
Oh, hell yeah. You want that blood match.
Yeah. We'll see if that could actually happen, but...
Hey, you never know. I mean, if...
I'm not sure how the brackets work out and whether or not that's possible to happen for the finals, but it is something that could possibly happen earlier than that.
Maybe if the stars align, it could be a full Russian final.
Oh, that would be nuts.
That would be an interesting game.
An all-Japanese final would have been fun, too, but I don't think that's likely to happen. But with Cyclops getting knocked down pretty quick and the sub coming out on Oringo, though, I don't know how they're doing over there. I hear a lot of excitement coming out of Stokes and Blue, so...
Let's check. Let me turn on the monitor.
It could be fun going on over there. Obviously, I'm looking forward to watching that VOD later myself, just to see how that goes after what happened with Dizzle that one match.
Oh, it just started. Okay.
Shockwave trying to sneak to this window again.
We're really ahead of the other stream right now.
Wow, yeah, we're already at round 5, then round 2.
Yep. So punch hole peek there onto Shockwave onto the master balcony and
taking a bit of damage, not too much though.
A little. Hey, it's something, right?
It's a bruise.
It's a better start than FaZe have had for a while. They've also killed more than a minute, and Pasha on this angle holding to make sure no one. Man, he seems energetic.
Yeah, this is his way of keeping himself in check. He doesn't have a fidget spinner right now, so.
How do you do this for this? Like, I would
You gotta stay fluid, man, limber.
I'd lose my mind if I was doing this all the time, but Rask will open things up onto Astro. There goes your Jaeger. There goes one of the premier fraggers in all of Latin America off the board. So FaZe, again, running into some trouble early. Mav's taking a lot of damage as well, below 50 at this point. I believe that was from the concussions, and now he's playing in behind the mattress inside of Master. Trying to do battle with Shockwave, but really coming up short on this one. A Nitro Cell sounds like it was going to be ripped. Yep, that did not connect either, so things are really running low here inside of FaZe.
Are just not predicting the way forZe is playing. It's clear that what they're trying to do and what they're anticipating is not what forZe is doing. The C4 is going out just completely ineffective. The plays, Cameraman at least getting Shockwave, but I don't know. It feels like that's not going to be super impactful this round, just off of the way these rounds have gone so far. Another attempted run out here again from Cameraman. Oh, and anticipating. Speaking of anticipating what's going to happen, and then Kama following it up onto Yuna as well. 4v2 now with Mav at half health.
It's Ion and Mav and a 2v4. 20 seconds left though, but Rask and Ion, they got to trade a piece, and now it's down to a 1v3 for Ion. The smoke, Kama carrying the diffuser, trying to push in for a plant behind the mattress, but no, Ion turns away. Now have a plant down in the middle of the island, and Rask will lock it down. The premier Buck player for the Russian team, and wow, it's 4-1 for forZe right now in the attack. We talked about maybe this team mirroring Empire. This is about the best Empire impression on Clubhouse I could have imagined.
It certainly is so far. This is looking very dominant. Like I said, I think it's more so just lack of anticipation. They're just not able to figure out what's going to happen and actually properly predict for it, to pre-fire, to move into the right positions, to be in the right positions.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're trying things like, oh, let's go for runouts, then let's try and play our game, it's not working. And forZe are just playing their own game.
The one thing I will say for FaZe is those first two rounds looked close. Like they did. I mean, FaZe came away victorious in the first round, and that one actually was not close.
It's seeming to get farther and farther away from that as we go on.
And it was also off single-handed prowess from the Cameraman. You know, that was 4 kills in the round for him. He did all the heavy lifting in the only round they've won so far. The rest of the team joined in for quite a bit of help on round 2 when it came down to the 1v1. And I mean, incredible individual skill for Pasha to be able to win that, and a little bit of luck on his side as well with the bearing spray and not being hit on that run out. But from there on, it's just been a nightmare for FaZe, and they need to snap out of it quickly.
Russia's definitely a region to watch out for. I mean, we thought we were lucky with Empire, but forZe is definitely showing that maybe there's a possible second team to really come storming out of that region.
You know, we talk about Challenger League and EU. forZe will be in there. Secret will be in there. BDS will be in there. I mean, this is quite terrifying, honestly, to see the scene for EU just opening up so much more, especially with newer teams.
Yeah.
Last season and the season before that, you know, it was like Empire and ENCE. Okay, yeah, those are both teams that we would predict to be in Pro League and actually do pretty well. And then you continue down the path with last season. I mean, the new Na'Vi coming up, that wasn't much of a shock either. They had to go through some pretty darn good teams to make it. Vitality as well, majority former pro team coming up.
Yep.
This time around, man, this could be wide open.
I like that drone position, just jumping that in there, keeping it at an angle where it's not going to be easily shot. That's one of the things they're also kind of aping from Empire. They're doing such great drone work and keeping their drone alive. Look how long it took for Cameraman to shoot that one drone that was spotting him out. They are absolutely using their drones to maximum effect as much as they can, and that's really putting FaZe in tough spots here because they just can't seem to. They see where the drones are coming from, but not where the players are coming from.
You know, I was talking to some of the TSM guys earlier on when we were on our break, and I've talked to a lot of players from a lot of teams that have gone up against Empire, and they always say the same thing. It's like, look, we've gone over the VODs, we see what Empire do, they run the same thing every time for the most part, and we're going to go in there, and we're going to be the team that picks it apart.
Right.
Every team says that. They go into the game, they get trounced, and they say, we don't know how we lost because we had the game plan. And sometimes game plan is important. Sometimes it's execution, though. And forZe and Empire both have a knack for incredibly meticulous execution in their gameplay. And droning is a huge factor of that. I've talked to a lot of players who say the only thing I ever see on my screen playing against Empire is you've been spotted, you've been spotted, you've been spotted.
Yeah, it certainly pays off. That's where I'd like to see maybe some more Mozzie play. Nice grenade from Rask, and that's going to free up the movement from Shockwave. Now he can take control of Blue. Great teamwork in pitching him out. Obviously, Cameraman was really focused on stopping Shockwave, and rightly so, but just great teamwork overall. The grenade attempt potentially going to come out here from Rask, but in the meantime, Astro has taken off Shockwave, so maybe Blue control back in FaZe's hands. This is that's a difficult grenade to throw, but he does pull it off at least.
And it looked like it barely bounced over the edge there. They're going to spot the Valkyrie camera as well. So the collapse from forZe is going to have to come in through the moto doors. The flashbangs will completely blind Mav and Ion as Astro does duel inside of Blue, but a beautiful shot onto WTG. Really traded out by Pasha from the back, and Kama as well. It's a tidal wave of force for the Russian squad, as it's just Yuna left alive in the depths of Arsenal, being battled out now by Kama. The plant needs to go down here momentarily, but even before you can get to that, Rask again, another nail in the coffin, and FaZe falling apart at the seams here on Clubhouse.
They're just even like pouring in through a prone hole in the wall, and they still can't win. They're just, I don't know, the confidence that comes out. It seems like eventually, you know, like they'll get stalled out by little things like, you know, Shockwave trying to take out Cameraman. But as soon as Rask came up and opened that up, they just kind of started pouring in. It's like, it's almost like they're water flowing in. And as soon as like something breaks, the dam breaks, they just start pushing and pushing. I mean, yes, they did manage to get the trade on Shockwave. He eventually died, but by that time, so much pressure was coming from the hallway and from Moto, and then the flashbangs coming out. You got to practice those throws. When it is reinforced from the outside like that, it is very difficult to get a grenade or a flashbang over the top of that. They have practiced the heck out of that.
One thing I'm really concerned about right now for this entire best of three is the fact that Club was forZe's pick, which means that FaZe got to pick side. They picked defense, obviously.
Yeah.
And now they've lost 5 defenses. Yeah. We then go to Villa, which is FaZe's pick. Which means forZe gets to pick side.
And their defense first, so that's a very good point.
Like, this could be over in a heartbeat here. This has been devastating for FaZe. They just look like they cannot hang against this aggression, and the execution coming out from forZe is remarkable to witness.
Well, it's not over yet.
It's not over,
switched. Things can change, but I wouldn't necessarily put a lot of money on it the way forZe have been playing.
This is just
man. Yeah. No, this is nothing short of impressive.
It is just hard to believe that we keep seeing these teams. I mean, it happened with Empire. A lot of teams doubted it, you know. It was the joystick show forever.
We saw how it was in Milan in the Euro Cup first, and we were believers at that point, because that was when we really got to see them at LAN and go, nope, they're for real.
They're the real deal, man. They're
and
the
so
real deal.
I don't think we were surprised after that, but I think a lot of people were absolutely shocked.
Oh, yeah, no, I heard it all the time after the Euro Cup. I kept saying, no, trust me, we've seen them on LAN.
No, they're good.
Real deal. And same thing for forZe here. I mean, this is their first LAN as a full team. And
I felt the same way. I felt like, you know, hey, okay, we'll see how they do at LAN. We'll see how they do at LAN. And it's not over yet. This is their first match. They're still within their first map. But so far, very impressed. Yeah.
It doesn't even matter who they're playing or what the scoreline is. Dude, the scoreline could be 5-1 for FaZe.
Yeah.
And the execution has still been remarkable.
Yeah, I'd still be impressed.
forZe. Yes.
A lot of drones coming out for FaZe, though. They're trying to drone half as well as what we saw from forZe. But Pasha waiting for the call out. They've got to have some kind of intel or something to make this call correctly. Will he catch Astro? Nope. Doesn't happen. He actually is going to back off now. Still has the C4 in hand. Still has 3 batteries as well. Interestingly, they barricaded the wall, or the door going in from the bottom of main stairs. Oh, they're actually going to open up to go for dirt. This could be pretty sneaky if they could pull it off. Maybe hopefully have some distractions. The X-Kairos just falls. Unfortunate. Hopefully they have some distraction going on at the same time, but interesting that he shot it up high. That doesn't give him the ability to crawl through it or anything, so it's a weird choice. But Pasha finally does find one with his C4. Good thing he saved it.
I mean,
and that's Astro, who he was hunting earlier.
If you're FaZe, you kind of need some openers here. You need some picks. Who's better to get you those picks than Astro?
He's been getting picked early a lot, too.
It's been a bad day for Astro, and it's been a bad day for FaZe so far. They seem like they're kind of lost right now, and they're slowing down quite a lot. They're trying to thermite open the church wall, but the impact trick will come out now from WTG. I mean, this is clinical right here for forZe.
Clinical, that's a good way to put it. They're trying to do the same thing, throwing the flashbangs over, and they failed. because it bounced back on them. That's what I'm talking about. It is very difficult to do this. You have to practice. Thankfully from Mav, he did practice that one a little bit. Did that get caught by an ADS or something?
Maybe?
Because we didn't hear it go off.
Did not hear it go off. Now
Ooh,
FaZe is trying to
Kama.
full send down the main hallway. Kama will chew him up, and
Oh no, looks like we could have hit a problem again.
looks like we did.
Unfortunate.
Looks like all of FaZe had.
What a good round too, with such little time left.
Yeah, looks like FaZe died.
I think it's looked like FaZe died the last 6 rounds.
That's mean.
Sorry, that was probably too far. But
So
I
we're gonna
imagine
have to wait
we'll
and
have a rehost here.
I'm interested to see what the admin call is on that one.
Yeah, that was very close to the end of the round.
There was 20 seconds left.
forZe was clearly winning that. But I don't know. I don't know how you call that. I mean, we're not admins. I don't envy their position and having to make those
That's
kinds
a
of
very
calls.
tough call to make. I don't know which way I would lean on that one. And I mean, if I'm FaZe, I'm probably pretty pissed if I lose the round over.
Well, that's a pretty important call too, because if you call it in forZe's favor, that puts them at map point.
Yep. And if you call it a replay and FaZe come back, well, then you say, well, we should have been 6-1
Yeah.
if you're forZe, right? Like that.
I mean, that's not as big of a hurt though, because then they still have room to come back and clean up the map at that point. It's like, oh no, we had to win 7-2 instead of 7-1.
This is sticky. And
This
of
is
course,
tough. You know, are
we're
they
just casters.
Are they running into as many problems on Alpha as we've been running into on Bravo today?
I don't know.
It's been rough over here.
I think it's just the one the one stage setup. So there's 4 setups.
Yeah.
For everyone back home who hasn't seen the whole thing, because we don't air all that. You don't get to see everything. There's 4 setups of booths of computers, so that obviously 2 games can be going on at the same time. And it's always been the team on our stream in the same booth every time that's had issues.
That will do it.
So
It's cursed. It's haunted.
it might just have an issue. I think when we were doing the last game, they said that the power went out. So it might be power distribution issues to that one bench.
Yeah, that does happen, depending on how they might have power strips daisy chained in a weird way, something like that.
Well, as we hear John and Sam just lose their mind.
So it sounds like the lobby's being put back together, like Humpty Dumpty.
Couple
Reassembled.
pieces.
Yeah. So we'll see whether or not they have to replay or what. In the meantime, the match on the A stream going pretty interesting. So far, Nora not doing as well as we'd hope, but still doing pretty good, considering they had to go for that switch, take one of their biggest players and switch him out for the coach. So, not too shabby on their part. But maybe let's talk about a little bit about what's going on with FaZe here, because forZe, I mean, we've talked a lot about, but FaZe, they look a little bit flustered. They look like, you know, we talk a lot about playing your own game and things like that. You kind of play, you know, when you play the way you want to,
Yeah.
when you're able to kind of maintain that confidence, it maintains better comms, it maintains better confidence, it allows more fluid gameplay, you can better anticipate things like that, and that's not what we're seeing from FaZe. It seems like they're getting kind of caught off guard a lot of times. It's almost like when you see like a ranked team come up against a big team like EG or something, and they just get kind of flustered a bit by it in terms of we don't know how they're doing, like what they're doing. It doesn't make sense to us. You got to kind of parse what they're doing, because when you're playing against the same teams all the time, you get kind of ingrained in your brain how they play or how the region plays or how the meta plays. Yes, they've gone up against other regions in international events, but maybe forZe is just throwing them for a loop. Sounds like they're going to replay that round, though.
They are going to replay.
That's rough.
The round will not be awarded one way or another, and I guess that's fair, right? It's not FaZe's fault that happened, so it's kind of unfair to lay the blame at their feet and say, hey, you lose a round because we've had power issues today. Like, this is definitely not their fault. Just kind of sucks for forZe, because damn, that was looking real close to a 6-1.
Well, definitely, I think unless they lose some momentum, they're still ready to repeat that round in a victorious way. But FaZe also have had some time now to really think about things. They already used their tactical timeout earlier, and now they just got a little bit of a technical one. Hopefully they're using that to figure out, okay, what are we doing wrong, guys? Because we're doing it pretty wrong. Astro as well getting shut down early a lot is really not helping things out, because he's one of their best fraggers. But they have a lot of good fraggers on the team, so it shouldn't matter that much. But it certainly seems to. They're just really not able to control a lot of the push against them. I mean, it's rough. They've definitely been having a rough time. And I'm not sure what they can do really to fight against it, other than maybe just try and get better intel on where the pushes are coming from, get a better idea. Maybe they need to be playing a pulse, honestly, so they can better predict how the pushes are going to come, make sure their runouts and other plays with C4 and things like that are a bit more effective. It's to actually have much better intel on the positioning of players on force. So, I don't know, I guess that's what I'd like to see as a pulse. I think could make a difference. I mean, they are playing, you know, C4 occasionally as well, so.
I also think that, yeah, still 5-1. They're going to replay it. They're going to do it all over again. Same bomb site, same operators. I think FaZe is really just getting fed up, and they're swinging for the fences. You know, you saw at the end of the round there before the entire lobby destructoed. At the end there, FaZe is having no luck getting through the church wall. They got impact tricked twice.
Yeah.
The frag grenades weren't working either, and then they bailed and just said, yeah, we're going to push main hall. And I mean, continue down that one, that's going to be tough. You're going to get shoot up in a multiple crossfire set, and you're not going to have a fun time. So it looks like we have everyone in the lobby.
I don't know what I was saying to pulse this right there. It's on defense now for forZe.
Yes, forZe is on the defense.
My bad on that one. I forgot because we
been a long day, Devin.
We didn't even get to finish
a
single defense round for them yet.
Nope. So we are almost ready to get underway. We're just making sure everything's ready in the lobby before we swap on over. But again, we are going to replay that round. Looks like we're good.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy. There's nothing wrong.
I guess what I'd like to see instead then is maybe a Dokkaebi or a Jackal, something to get the better positioning. Because I think that's part of the problem is just FaZe not knowing where the members of forZe are positioned. Of course, like you said, they got to go for the same bomb site, same operators. Probably going to play it in a similar fashion, but that won't necessarily improve their ability to throw throwables over that wall. It's tough because of the way that hitbox stands out a little bit from that red part at the top of the barricade.
Yeah, the reinforcements aren't kind to, when they're reversed like that, they aren't kind to allowing throwables through. It'll still happen. You can angle it.
Well, forZe showed they could.
Yeah. It's definitely more difficult than if the reinforcement was on the inside, and I imagine that's exactly why forZe are putting it on the outside, and why a lot of teams continuously reinforce from the outside in.
Yeah, it's pro-level stuff where you got to know the ins and outs of the game to that small level of detail.
Yep.
Because you got to get any edge you possibly can, and you even need to practice that kind of stuff. I know you need to practice, okay, how do I throw a grenade over here? What pixel do I look at to be able to make that arc work? Practice in customs.
And you always find new throwable arcs and stuff because the arcs have changed so much over time.
Yeah.
So.
And you also have the velocity thing too, so you can start moving while you do it in one direction or another to be able to kind of adjust that velocity.
Yep. So you're always going to be finding new angles. You know, that Villa grenade from the rooftop, that was quite impressive when that was first discovered. So, you know, there's always going to be new things coming out of the woodwork in this game, and that's kind of the beauty of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So starting off, we are going to be back downstairs. Like I said, same ops, same site on the rehost. Had some troublesome tech issues today, but we are persevering on through. Kama's going to use one Electroclaw in between both the panels of reinforcements in dirt. It'll hit both of them. And interesting that he put it so low. Typically, if you put it in the corner, you might be able to get away with the splash damage from a frag grenade not hitting it as well, but whatever. I'm sure the acceptable trade, frag grenade for an Electroclaw, he'll take that.
Yeah, why not?
Again, slower movement here for FaZe, and honestly, that tech break was probably more beneficial for FaZe than forZe. forZe has just been on a roll.
Right.
And they've had all the momentum at their back. The wind has been in their sails the whole time, I guess is a good way to put it. And finally, even though it took the whole server crashing, Pasha's still going to hit that nitro, and that's Cameraman. Oh, there's your thermite.
Pasha's been playing good today, even when it's just off of luck. But that's such an important early pick. I don't think they're going to do a ton with that. Habana?
I'm just curious how he has the intel to hit that, because there's no Valkyrie.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was wondering.
It better not be a default camera. Like that just sound call off the bar cam.
That would be embarrassing.
That would be.
But I mean, he was trying to get it in the previous round, and it took him a while, but he did eventually get it as well that time, and it was against Astro. This time it was against Cameraman, but yeah, he's definitely playing that smart.
Oh, Shockwave's going to drop Astro as well, looking up to the kitchen hatch, so you know, replay the round or not. Oh, what is this angle? Oh, that's nasty.
That is a dirty, tiny little angle. We'll see if he catches anyone from it.
Understandable how Astro got rocked off that then.
Yeah.
This is troublesome here for FaZe, to say the least. They're still ripping up the kitchen floors. They've opened up the kitchen hatch, and I mean, I guess your objective right here is going to be pushing into kitchen, because pushing into kitchen and then dropping Arsenal and pushing maybe down the main hallway, like they tried to at the end of the last round before, or the end of this round that was played the first time.
Yeah, a lot of plays have been around that church wall, but they did, oh, Pasha with the second one. But they lost that thermite, so it makes it much harder to do anything like that. They are trying to use this Habana hole. I wouldn't try and crawl, though. That's not the play. That's diffuser down in a hole. They might be able to pick it up by walking next to it, but not going to matter. Pasha destroying everyone that round. Flawless round for him, proving it's not only luck rounds that he wins.
Look at this snap on the kill, too. Just beautiful technical abilities for Pasha, and
he's thanking the admins for letting them replay that round.
I guess, you know, it helps his kill total. He got 4 on the round on that one, and Shockwave tagging in with that dirty angle from the blue box.
Yeah.
CCTV and Cash looking to close things out here will be forZe on map number 1 in this best of 3. Just to mention, this was forZe's pick. No surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Clubhouse. It's a Russian
The
team.
surprise is the gap.
Yeah, that's the real shock. And the 5 wins on the attacking side. That's also...
No, the real shock is on Maestro right now.
Okay.
Let's see how they do on Cash, though. That was their only defense so far.
Yep. You never know.
You never know. I mean, like you said,
And Villa is FaZe's pick. So the only thing that I said could be troublesome for FaZe is that forZe will have choice of map or choice of side because it's FaZe's pick. So I imagine they'd pick defense first.
They did.
Yeah. They did pick defense first. All right.
That's all that I've seen so far from all the matches we've casted. Is it's always picking defense. Whenever you have the pick, that's all I've seen is pick defense.
I mean, there's a lot of maps. There's 3 maps in the rotation right now that are heavily defensive favored: Clubhouse, Villa, and Cafe.
Yeah, when I was looking at the stats, I think it was maybe Consulate was the only one that was like pure 50-50.
Yeah.
Like exactly 50-50.
Post would be pretty close. I imagine Bank wouldn't be far off.
Yeah.
Border is, I don't know. The Border's a nightmare. It depends on the team, really.
Yeah, we saw that earlier.
And then the other 3, obviously, extremely defensive favored in comparison to the rest. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how she goes.
Well, we'll see how Cash goes here for forZe. Maybe Pasha will have another really good round, or maybe finally there'll be some momentum here.
Where are you going, Rask? What? Oh, Astro's been down. The run out here. He's going to get 1, grab 2 for his troubles on the run.
What?
Cameraman and Astro can't even make it out of spawn. That's the diffuser gone. They know they killed the thermite for consecutive
I love how he
rounds.
stood exactly in the point where like he wasn't going to get marked yet and just waited.
Yep.
So patiently. These guys are, at this point, okay, we talk about like, you know, emotions running high and stuff like that. If you're FaZe, I wouldn't be surprised if they're screaming at each other at this point, just out of frustration.
It's tough, man.
That's like what I was talking about the early spawn peaks, tilting people and stuff like that. That's right there. You're already at match point, or map point at least, and you get a run out like that onto your thermite and Astro, which is supposed to be your best player who's been dying early most rounds. That's a tilt and a half right there.
Rask is trying to challenge server window. I believe this is Ion out on the balcony, and Rask gonna go for the run. 3 on the round for Rask.
All 3 from outside.
Construction wall with the SMG-11. Rask tagging in. He wants to go for the ace here. Almost finishing on 4 here as Yuna is going to actually put Rask worse for wear in the engagement. Turning the corner on the pre-fire. He can't land that either. And Mav will at least shut down WTG on the flank through bedroom. So a little bit of an overextension here for forZe. Could be their demise in a round, but they're still in the driver's seat up 2v4. Now 2v3. Yuna and Mav working back and forth. So that'll put an end to Rask terror. Still have Pasha, who's been monstrous lately with the Bandit as well. So trying to recollect themselves will be FaZe on elimination point here, or sorry, match point on map number 1. Mav getting the hell out of Dodge as fast as possible on the buck, and he's going to leave Yuna alone. They still have Diffuser in spawn. Not sure what the game plan here is for FaZe in terms of recollecting that and pushing in for a plant. I still have Yuna with the breaches, with the X-Kairos, so you could theoretically buck from below, which is Mav is doing right now, onto the legs of Pasha. He'll back off, so you could get a construction push going here. You just don't have Diffuser, and there's not a lot of whole time remaining. Mav might go and recollect the Diffuser as these X-Kairos go off. There's nothing really to stop the X-Towers from going off, so construction wall will get opened up into cash. This is looking semi-promising here for FaZe, and Mav is just going to push up the cash stairs, reloading the skeleton key up against the TCSG. Kama misses the head, point-blank range, Mav will gun him down. 2 on the round for him, but Shockwave takes down his partner in Yuna, trade right back onto Shockwave. So now it's Pasha against Mav to keep Clubhouse alive, turning the corner, the anticipation. Good bait there, but it won't be enough as Mav turns the corner and lands 6 feet under. It's forZe taking map number 1, 7-1.
What a performance. Pasha finally getting to get one more at the end of that round there, but my goodness, replaying rounds does not matter. Just Rask, especially that round with his 3K, almost a 4 onto the 1 inside logistics. What if I'm FaZe, I'm scared right now. I'm going to be going to the bathroom because I'm going to need to just decompress at that point if I'm them.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head to a short little break here between forZe and FaZe. On the other side will be Villa, map number 2. It's forZe up 1-0. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're currently, I guess, midway through would be a logical assumption. Our last game of the day on the B stream, FaZe versus forZe. It's currently forZe up 1-0 in terms of map count. They win Clubhouse 7-1 after starting on the attack. We now head to Villa. forZe obviously picked Clubhouse, so that means that Villa is FaZe's pick.
Yeah. Definitely potential here. Now, FaZe have played it twice in Pro League. They won 7-5 against Black Dragons and then tied INTZ on it. So it's a pretty good map for them and one that they've definitely shown a little bit on. Hard to say forZe, of course, not being in Pro League, how they're doing on it necessarily. I imagine they probably played it during the qualifiers, but I don't have the stats for that open just yet in front of me. But it is a good map overall. It is one, as you mentioned, that's defender-sided with forZe starting on defense first. That could be a pretty bad sign here. We saw both sides really dominated by forZe on Clubhouse, so it's hard to say whose side it was. Obviously, attack went very well for them, and then defense equally well, despite some of the rounds being close. None of them were close enough for FaZe to really be able to take them other than one round, even with that replayed round that actually almost went better that time for forZe. It's been rough, really, for FaZe right now. They are definitely in a huge uphill battle at this point, looking like a sheer cliff unless they can really change their mentality for the second match and somehow forced to play a bit more of their game. Looks like forZe did play Villa against Chaos, I believe, and then that was the one where Chaos knocked them down to the losers bracket in the qualifiers. Chaos won that 8-7. So it was definitely a good map in that sense, but they also took Vitality to it and won, I believe, 8-6. So,
well, we're underway.
It might have been the other way. Either way, yeah, we'll see how it goes in this matchup here. We know it's a decent map for FaZe and an okay map for forZe.
So, for this round here, or for this map, we're going to lose a Hibana. And I mean, why wouldn't you if you're forZe? You kind of want to wrap this one up nice and early, so you get rid of one of the hard breachers, the best hard breacher outside of Maverick to bring on Villa, and we're also going to lose a Jackal, so maybe some more roaming coming out from FaZe, even though they'll start on the attack. Maybe once they get to the defense, they'll be employing a little more map control.
Yeah, that's rough taking out the Jackal here, because roam play can be pretty nutty on this when you have the basement area that people can roam in. Don't always roam in, but if you can't track them or even see footprints to know if they've gone down there, you never know where they're going to pop up all of a sudden. So we could see some roam control ops played in terms of like Nomad or Gridlock, but maybe not. I mean, we haven't seen a ton of that from these guys so far.
Well, 4 operators that came out consecutively in this game. Hibana and Echo from Year 1, Season 4 from Red Crow, and then Mira and Jackal from Velvet Shell from Year 2, Season 1. Both going to be removed from play. You still have Maestro to the availability of the defense. You still have Maverick to the availability of the attack. So I'll be interested to see how much Maverick gets played from FaZe. They're bringing a Finka right now on Ion, and that's not necessarily out of... Yeah, that's not really outside of their wheelhouse. They run a lot of Finka in Latin America and FaZe specifically. So
yeah,
I guess really they're worried about the gunfights right now against forZe, and how could you not be after that game?
Yeah, I gotta wonder if they're gonna play super aggressive to try and like compensate for that last map, but that could just end up costing them the round even faster than usual if they can't pull it off. We'll see how they set up here in terms of defense. As you said, this is a defender-sided map right now, very much so. They've got some utility for that. They've got, of course, the Legion goo mines. Typical ADS is coming out for Jaeger. And then Smoke and the Black Eyes. No Maestro, though, is an interesting choice considering he wasn't banned and how useful he is on this map. This was, of course, his map he was introduced on as well, especially on sites like the 90-degree angle that you can get in the classical hallway. That's a very useful one to have an Evil Eye on, to be able to watch that. Of course, there's the default cam there to start with, but you definitely want the Evil Eye if you could set it up. I guess they're just going to count on the Black Eyes to be able to do some of that work. They are a little more hidden, but there is an IQ that should be able to spot them pretty quickly.
Yeah, for FaZe in this one, I think I'm going down the same rabbit hole as you. I wonder how aggressive FaZe is going to get, especially starting on attack. They're bringing the Finka, obviously, so they are anticipating a lot of hefty gunfights where they might need a little less recoil and a little more health at their side.
Well, at least the goo mines will help try and counter the boost a little bit.
Yeah, and
and that will do it as well. Now no boosts to be used at all this round. Now we can continue to wonder for the rest of the round with no resolution on that. Oh, the attempt from Rask. Nice try, bud.
valiant, although ultimately uneventful. Pasha, though, continuing his reign of terror. There goes Astro, so 2 in the round for him. He's a doc. He got down to about 5 HP, but he's going to boost himself right back up to about 90. It's a good look for Pasha here. Now pushing in through.
Wow, the drop shot.
Okay, it's kind of how you know things are just really going against FaZe today.
Last boost.
That's a hipfire headshot. Shockwave will take down cameraman. Mav will immediately trade him out, but the retreat back to the objective here for the rest of forZe. Mav left alone in a 1v3. Pasha's used all of his boosts, or sorry, all of his stim pistols, so not a lot left to be done there for utility, but you still have the smokes, you still have a Nitrocell on comma, you still have the Valkyrie cams up, and you gotta push a doorway. Well, okay, there goes the Nitrocell, and again, I appreciate the attempt there, but there goes the camera as well.
I wonder if Pasha also set up a bulletproof camera on 90 instead of the Maestro cam.
Possibly. Be the end of the line there for Mav, but Pasha will go down regardless of whether there's a cam up or not, and if it was, it'll lay on the map past his demise. Still have Comma and WTG to lock down the site. I mean, we're starting to get a little over-aggressive here with forZe. They started in a 4v1, and now they stand at a 2v1. Another frag grenade will be used over the wall. It won't connect onto anything, really. Just making sure nobody's playing too close to the reinforcement. You have one inside a vault and one behind bar. Pretty standard positions here, and this frag grenade might actually catch WTG off guard, but there is an ADS, behind the bar, so that won't have a whole lot of effect, and now a smoke grenade being sent over into Aviator as Mav needs to start pushing in. Common's playing a soft angle, not trying to get blasted off of a common one. So Mav will slowly creep his way in to the smoke. Skeleton key out against the soft wall, but he's retreating now, trying to play this a little safer. Take the 1v1s where they're possible. Isolate each target one by one. The plant going down in behind the default is a fake out. Nobody biting here for forZe. Now the smoke will come out and start choking him out. As he pushes into Vault, Commo will collect the kill. Took a little longer there to wrap up, but it was forZe in control the whole time. And FaZe, they start off the way they did on Clubhouse, getting aggressed upon and not really having much of a response to it.
Yeah. Good teamwork there at the end of the round as well, using the smoke to help push him out. Because they could hear the plant was going down. They know that's a common plant spot. It was just a call out at that point. Hey, he's smoking. He's planting behind door. Smoke him. There wasn't much choice. He could have pushed back a different way. And that was probably not the best direction to go, but nonetheless, there wasn't much he could do that round. Pasha's aggression absolutely paying off. It was unfortunate for Rask, though. He wasn't able to make his play work. They did due to some misplays for sure. Like you said, they got over-aggressive. It definitely cost them a bit. But at the end of the day, they still won the round. They're going to try the Finca again against Trophy this time, but we really didn't get a chance to see what that was going to do as he was picked off very early in the round by Pasha. So far, looking pretty good for him. Shockwave, Comma also finding one that round. Mav, the only one to really get many kills when he was trying to clutch it out, other than Cameraman's one. So overall, looking like forZe continue to drive this. Looking pretty good. They are going to have some drone denial here from the Mozzie as well. This is definitely a little bit of a different attack on this site in particular. They may be staging from the master bedroom rather than trying to stage in from study. But I gotta imagine they're going to be prepared to defend on the Aviator side as well. See Rask setting up for that right now inside Aviator.
One of my biggest concerns for FaZe is the spawn peaks they keep getting them. We're going to see another one here from Pasha as he's waiting for that fountain spawn.
They just want to keep tilting them.
And it must be working because FaZe really haven't found much of a counter to it. And for forZe, I mean, if you can continue to apply pressure, then why stop, right?
Absolutely.
Just keep going.
You only stop when you absolutely have to, when you're bleeding out too much. But it's like, if it costs you one round, that's not even a big deal the way they've been playing.
No, they feel they look like they're playing with the utmost confidence out of probably anyone we've seen so far today.
Especially after that first map, they're going to be.
Yeah, this is, a lot of teams are calling them the dark horse in this tournament, and this might be exactly why. They're very unknown. Like, we don't have a whole lot of intel on this team. Cameraman will do his best to try and take away a lot of the intel that's being used. I'm not sure where that Valkyrie camera is, but it's not long for this world.
Cameraman really struggling. That's going to add to the tilt factor, I'm telling you,
He's hitting a lot of metal bars, unfortunately.
They are going to be really not in a good emotional place.
Shockwave looking down the Astro hatch and towards the base of Astronomy Stairs and just waiting for maybe cameraman to rotate around. And got some repels coming up to the bathroom window now, into the master balcony for FaZe, as they haven't really completed all of their tasks downstairs, as we're almost halfway through the round and we still have 3 FaZe members down inside a kitchen and dining. So waiting to accomplish that, and then they'll rotate up for the usual master push. The big problem will be getting a thermite charge off on the wall safely. Impact tricking shots down through the floor. Rask is also laying in wait over by living room. Yeah, seems like the drones are slow going, but they will at least identify Rask's position. And for FaZe here, it's got to be expedited. You're running out of time rather quickly here.
Yeah, for all the droning out there doing, they're just not pushing in with those drones very quickly, and it's leading to droning that's just costing them double the time because they're not following those drones quickly. In the meantime, that's just giving forZe a chance to stay alive. However, as I say, that Rask does finally get pinched down, thanks to Ion. He still has the 2 boosts left in his pocket. They're going to try and put some pressure on now with these flashbangs to stop that from getting open. They could be going for an impact trick on it. We'll see what WTG does. And he's going to go for it. Does it work? I couldn't tell if it did. Nope.
Wall is open.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's a good start for FaZe, but could be a bad finish if they don't start speeding things up in these last 35 seconds.
It's a little far right, too, but you can't really get too picky in those situations.
No.
You can't cover that from the window on the rotate. You have to actually press into Master to do so, leaving you vulnerable. But Shockwave will take down Ion on a push. And now Cameraman will trade him right back out on the Astro stairs. So a collapse onto the objective through the bathroom side after they open up the Master wall. And Kama's taking a lot of damage, but won't actually be finished off here. You have the Doc healing back up, and WTG holding Astro. It's 2 for forZe and 1 for FaZe, leaving us in a 1v2 now as it's Pasha left alive against Yuna and Mav. No time remaining, and Yuna has to get the plant down. All it takes is Pasha to turn the corner and land the shot. But Mav on the cover from Astro, and FaZe able to bounce back. They stop a lot of bleeding, honestly. They lost 7 rounds in a row on Club. They lost 8 in a row between 2 maps.
Yeah.
They finally get one back.
Definitely much better that time, just because, I mean, they didn't really lose very many players going into the actual execute themselves. But time management-wise, that wasn't great. They spent a lot of time clearing empty rooms downstairs. Yes, Rask was playing around down there, and they did eventually pinch him out for it. But I don't know if it was really worth the amount of time they spent. But nonetheless, they won a lot of the gunfights upstairs that just forZe just seemingly wasn't peeking the right angles, or was maybe getting a little over-aggressive when they didn't have the intel advantage to be able to make those peaks work. And I mean, great attempt by, for example, WTG playing in Astronomy. He was able to at least get 1 peak, but just didn't have the information to be able to see through his smoke well enough to land that second one, although he definitely tried. Just things like that, small details ultimately cost him the round, but I can't imagine that's going to hurt forZe too bad mentally, but that is going to be a big boost. That's going to be the adrenaline boost that the Finca needs to give them in terms of mentality on FaZe right now, that this is winnable still for them.
Well, yeah, just having that boost will provide a little extra confidence for you in a gunfight, and sometimes that's all you really need. You know, we've been talking about FaZe's play being rather timid on the attacking side of either map so far. They only got 2 rounds to attack. Well, 3, but 1 was replayed. But like you said, there's a lot of droning going on for 2 minutes, and no one pushing behind those drones, and I imagine that's just because they're intimidated by the firepower that forZe are bringing in every fight.
Yeah. The unpredictability, too.
And it was a good collapse there onto the site. So forZe will run it back on the trophy and statuary. Not a big shock there as it came down to a 1v2, and realistically, if one thing goes another way, then it's a round for forZe. So they're not feeling too bad after that one. They've definitely got rounds built up after Clubhouse. They're feeling pretty good about themselves, and Rask's going to head back downstairs. Nope, he's going to come back upstairs.
Still deciding how they want to play this. No Jacqueline plays. He's been banned, so leaving footprints doesn't do anything for you. Cameraman looking for freebies from below again as they are continuing to clear the bottom stairs as they did last round and the previous round. Just feel like this is just part of their checklist, is to keep the bottom clear as much as possible, see what utility they can take out from below. And I like this. I like them taking advantage of playing a little more securely. I'd almost like to see some holes open up in the floor just to make this hard. Oh.
Good night.
Yeah, Rask is really struggling on this map in particular.
Hey, props to FaZe. Get your openings where you can. We saw that on Coastline between SSG and Giants as well.
Yeah.
Bolts had a lot of problems with getting shot to the floor by Corey on the IQ. So, hey, run it right back, why don't you? FaZe able to get the opening pick onto Rask for back-to-back rounds. He was the opening pick last round as well.
And the first round as well when he jumped out into the Claymore.
True. So, actually, Rask has died first every round.
He's trying to pull an Astro.
Surely doing his darndest.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to push back this attack, but it's actually coming with a little more confidence this time, especially after that opening pick. They're going to push a little more aggressive onto Trophy here. They can't go back to Aviator yet, but I got to imagine they're going to after this round, win or lose, since they can.
The big difference maker will be the impact tricking, though, on the wall. If WTG can actually pull this off, and I'm not sure why he doesn't have an ADS. It's really just curious.
Raska's dead now, so they can fix that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud, but I just don't know why he doesn't have an ADS, because all it took was one stun over the wall from Astro to push WTG back. So, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Rask hadn't gotten to it yet. Here's the attempted impact trick coming out. And WTG standing there holding it. Unfortunately, must have been blinded. Ion, in the meantime, does take down Shockwave. Astro gets WTG, and this is falling apart.
It's almost like an ADS. Could have been beneficial.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of members for forZe fall in that engagement, and the wall gets opened up. Kama playing close in the Master Door. He whiffs a lot of shots. Astro with a great shot there as well. Pasha with 1 onto Ion, but he's on 5 HP, and Unoa cleaned that one up. FaZe! It's the most rounds they've won on the map today. It's 2. But they do it in back-to-back fashion onto Statuary and Trophy. I imagine forZe go back to Aviator and Games Room now. And honestly, the aggression from forZe kind of dialed back in those last 2 rounds.
Yeah, they seemed like they weren't hitting their shots either. When they'd go for their peaks, they'd whiff a lot of them, and then it seemed like FaZe were the exact opposite. They were managing to land most of them. In situations that on Clubhouse, I feel like forZe would have won. FaZe was winning, and I think that's a big reversal here. I mean, we'll see if things change back when they go back to Aviator. Maybe just Trophy's a bad one for them in general, but I guess FaZe going to go for a tactical timeout here, maybe just to kind of build off of that momentum that they've gotten so far in terms of talking about what they could do off of that, what they've learned from how to play in terms of actually winning some rounds. Like you said, the most rounds they've won today on a map. So I'm not sure if the adrenaline boost is really making a difference for them from Finka or not, but they are continuing to go with it as if it is regardless. I mean, maybe the LMG's helping as well. forZe, though, just seeming like they're a little bit, for some reason, out of their element in some way. I mean, they're also not running the Maestro, which I find kind of interesting, when they definitely could be, and he's really good.
I mean, Shockwave was using him on Clubhouse, so it's not like they don't have a player.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Him.
But why not on this map?
I don't know. It looks like forZe maybe is just favoring mobility right now. With the Jackal banned, maybe they feel they have the freedom to kind of roam around a little bit more.
I guess with the lineup, it would have to be Pasha running, and he's just running the dock instead and kind of being the same thing because he's getting an ACOG and a camera. Yeah. That's the bulletproof camera. It's kind of the same, I guess.
Also, the ability to stim yourself back up. I mean, Pasha is not going to be one to be shy from engagements.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
If you're a Maestro and you're jumping into a lot of engagements, yes, you have many more bullets, but you also can't heal yourself back up. So, trade-offs, right? For FaZe here, they're going to take a tack timeout. They're going to talk it through. They're going to jump back in after winning 2 rounds. I kind of like that, honestly.
They made one change after they did 2. They 6-picked Yuna over to the Ashe. So maybe they decided just to be a little bit more aggressive in that discussion.
I think they're noticing as well that on Aviator and Games Room, you're never really going to get this wall open, barring some kind of monumental throw coming out from forZe.
Very true.
Just because there's much easier ways and much safer ways you can impact trick and even bandit trick if you really felt courageous enough to go for it. Yeah, it's a different character because you have 4 impacts, 2 from Shockwave and 2 from WTG.
As long as WTG doesn't just get flashbanged again.
Yeah, that was a little awkward last round.
Cost them 2 rounds in a row.
I'm sure I'm sure the blindness effect from the flashbang wore off, and he saw an open wall and someone staring at him and went, "Yeah, this is my time. I'm not getting out of this one."
Just laid down.
So for FaZe, looks like they're going for a far side clear, like they did last time, but realistically, they didn't have much momentum going in because of all the spawn peaks and stuff. Pasha jumping out, and Rask jumping out, even though he died to a Claymore.
He cleared the Claymore for his teammates.
Exactly. So Rask's playing a little closer on site this time. And by closer, I mean in the objective because, he's been a trash can so far through 3 rounds. So might as well get back.
He was still confident because of that run out the last round on Clubhouse.
Yeah, and Astra's going to start things off onto Kama, so that's quite the kill right there. Oof, all pushing in through the master side, and seemingly no one is well aware of that, but Pasha will at least trade out Ion, so there goes your Finka. After everyone's boosted, they're in the middle of the hallway. Pasha has them all lined up. He at least gets 2 for his troubles, and Shockwave will take in as well. Down to Yuna and Mav. The 2v3 quickly here as there's so much time left on the board, and FaZe try to offer a rush, and forZe declines.
Yeah, that hallway just turned into a death trap instead, and wow, that was a quick end. Just like, you know what? We don't like this round anymore. It's over.
So the attack timeout starts off great. Make the 6th pick. They get the opening pick onto a completely unaware Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And then
honestly, that gave away their push at that point. And Posh.
Well, I mean, they don't have a hard breacher, right? So what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You're just gonna stand outside a doorway for the rest of the round? Like,
But that's what I mean. They played off the intel. Pasha was like, oh, they're gonna push that way.
Yeah.
All right, I'll peek it. Almost got 2. Shockwave was like, don't worry, guys. I'll finish it for you.
Yep. And,
Well done.
I mean, the strategy did not work out for FaZe. So back to, I guess, basics a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're gonna go
you
for
gonna throw
dining
that again?
instead of trying trophy again, though.
That is, although forZe, I mean, they gave it 2 pretty solid tries.
Well, solid except for the failed impact tricking that, as you pointed out, could have been
Could have been a difference maker.
could have been
the
better.
First
Yeah,
time.
they could have gotten an ADS there, 2 of them even, just to make sure, because that was critical to keeping that site.
Yeah, they're not bringing a Thatcher either, so I mean, what's your worry here? That is guaranteed going to catch 2 things that come
Very
off the
true.
wall. It's been 1 stun, okay, 1 flashbang, and 1 Zofia lifeline stun.
Yeah.
That have been the demise of WTG on the impact trick. But hey, Rask still 0-3. At least he didn't die that round. Give him props where it's due. We're going to go down.
He's like, I'll hide in Gun Vault. Don't kill me.
We're going to go down to not living room, the library. Sorry. We're
Yeah, interesting library
living
choice
room, library.
or dining. I'm sorry.
Is this kitchen and dining? I can't.
It's kitchen dining. Yeah.
Kitchen and dining.
Yeah.
Monitor's tilted too far away.
No, I saw it in the pick phase. But yeah, it's interesting that they'll go to that. What I want to see is how much top. Whoa, okay. That answers my question. I was gonna say how much top floor control they maintain, and quite a bit is the answer. The Mozzie also gonna help them stay alive. Maybe it'll help Rask stay alive a little bit longer in terms of him not getting droned out. They also have the rotate they opened up in that wall there down into that skylight, which is nice to be able to rotate quickly down back to site. So I like that adjustment there to just make that a little bit smoother if they need to go back down or if they get over pressured up top. See if Ion can live a little bit longer this time to get those boosts going, as he has died on that Finka a little bit early, a couple rounds now. Yeah. Things are going to slow down a bit for FaZe now as they try and drone things out, but Yuna finds Rask again, not long for this world. Maybe hiding was his best strategy.
I mean, it worked out pretty well. He also was going for the fences, going for Yuna, and he dropped him to 20 HP. So, I mean, if someone can pick up where he left off, it might not be the end of the world. And Kama will take down Mav as well, a lot for his trouble. And now it's all trying to barrel in through Laundry.
Oh,
2 quick ones for WTG. Lay that plan to rest quite quickly. Now it's just 2 members left. Posh with a shotgun of his own, and Shockwave coming down the main hallway.
This is the speed of rounds I was expecting from these 2.
Yeah. I was also expecting FaZe to maybe,
Win some more of them?
Yeah.
Hey, they've won 2 out of 3 on this map at least.
They have.
But that was dining. That was not great. Trophy finally here in the final attempt because they don't have a choice unless they want to go library, and that's not so much a choice
It seems
for anyone
like-
but Vitality.
It seems like FaZe are just getting fed up of trying to take this traditionally, and they're really trying to ramp things up.
I mean, some of their aggression did pay off in previous rounds. I can't fault them too much for thinking that's the play.
No, not at all. Like this is just a different strategy that FaZe are bringing, and unfortunately, it's not working out for them because the reads from forZe, their positioning right now is what's really impressing me on the side of forZe. Even if one person goes for a swing and ultimately dies, kind of like Rask did there, their positioning lends themselves to trades so beautifully that we haven't even seen from other teams at this tournament.
Yeah.
Where there are people miles and miles away from one another. And that's been happening a little bit on FaZe. You know, they've been going for these split pushes. You got a 2 and a 3 trying to go in from separate areas on the rush, and it hasn't worked out so far. I don't think it's catching forZe off guard as much as FaZe are hoping for. I think they're hoping for that initial rush and the bottleneck. I think they're hoping to get a couple picks off that as well, even if it results in just a clean, even trade on either side. But I imagine the game plan is we're going to distract him with the first rush, and then the second duo on the back is going to come in and pick up all the...
That so didn't work, too, because you saw him, like, he turned around. He had diffuser, and then still was like, no, I'm going to focus the other way, towards where they're coming from. Like, it failed spectacularly in terms of that strategy of a distraction rush. We'll see how they play this time, but they might have to play a little bit more carefully. Trophy, though, the site that they've won twice, is going to be the Alamo here for forZe in terms of their last defensive round. So maybe they'll be able to make it work. But it looks like a little bit of a different approach from below here from FaZe, interestingly enough. That's, of course, Cameraman going to be going in there looking for freebies from below, like before. Rask hopefully has set up the proper ADS, and honestly, since he hasn't done anything else any other rounds, that's all he needs to do. If he can do that much, he can continue to die in peace.
I think you really got to give props to forZe for the reads as well. They're not getting caught off guard by a lot of things that would trip up a lot of, I guess, inexperienced teams. They're showing that they belong, and I think that's really impressive for a team that's in CL that has never been in Pro League before. This is their very first major.
Yeah.
This is their for a lot of them, it's their very first international experience in general.
Yeah.
And for a lot of them to be able to play this composed and honestly this clinically against a team like FaZe on the international stage, it's a huge statement from forZe to say we're here and we're not going anywhere.
It bodes well for them going forward in this tournament, whichever bracket they're in. So pressure finally starting to come in out of the master bedroom, although not a ton just yet. But they're going to open up hope, and someone tries to push them on an angle. In the meantime, Yuna actually going to drone to follow it up. So they are trying to play a little bit smarter rather than the rushing after that didn't work last round. But Astronomy tends to be key. Rask, he is going to hide all the way down in the wine cellar. Probably a smart choice. Let's just see what he does at the end of the round when he's lived that long for once.
Well, I like this actually. So, yeah, we're watching Ion here for a second. They have a network of flank drones set up, FaZe do. And Ion is just sitting on them all, cycling.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Because he can
bouncing
boost
back
from
and forth.
Far.
Exactly, and he's also watching for the flanks while being alive. There's a lot of flank drones that get set up and then never really utilized because you still have 5 up. And look at the time left in the round. There's 50 seconds left. At this point, you'd be thinking maybe someone on your team had died. He can watch those for you, but the cycle back and forth, and that does not look like it's a successful impact trick yet again from WTG. Unfortunate for forZe, the wall's been opened up, but they've killed a lot more time this time.
That's really the big thing. If they can continue to delay it with smokes, for example, and then shockwave shooting, that's a nice angle down at the bottom of the stairs. Can he catch these two? There we go. Thermite going down first. That's Diffuser dropped. One more with a goo mine in his foot coming upstairs. And he's dropped as well.
There goes Rask. His first kill in the game will be on the flank coming up Astro stairs. Mav still out on the rappel with 15 seconds remaining. Astro collected a kill from inside of Master onto WTG, but pressed up right in his window. The skeleton key will slap Rask back down. But Shockwave again. The solo man inside of Astronomy on the dock. It's forZe up 4-2 at the half, starting on the defense. That's pretty standard, though. You know, you saw FaZe get 2 attacking rounds. The big difference will be here when forZe swap to the attacks. Are they as incredibly gifted on the attacking side on Villa as they are on Clubhouse?
This is the real test. We expected them to get some of those defensive rounds, but I mean, FaZe thought they had kind of figured it out, and no matter what they do, it seems like they can't consistently win.
Well, I mean, this is the best position we've seen FaZe in all day.
Well, they switched to Trophy, interestingly, last minute.
Going to Trophy and Statuary to start things off. Yeah, like you said, they had Aviator and Games pre-selected, and then they head back over to Trophy Statuary. I guess maybe some indecision or trying to catch forZe off guard, but again, we said this on Clubhouse as well. This is a team that's going to run, you know, a standard 5. The Dokkaebi's a little interesting.
Yeah, and also finally a Maestro coming out from FaZe.
True. So we're seeing some new operators enter the pool here, and
I think that's the first sledge we've seen for the matches we've casted as well.
yeah, actually, I think all 3 games we have not seen a sledge.
It's weird. I mean, Empire runs the sledge pretty consistently as well. We'll see a lot of times Karjeka running that, I think, more correctly. So.
Well, one thing we see from both the Russian teams is never really playing Buck. They don't like the C8 for some reason. And they opt to go for Sledge for soft destruction and frag grenades. And I mean, Buck and Sledge, pretty interchangeable. Just the verticality you get out of Buck is a lot more favorable. And the C8 is one hell of a weapon.
Yeah, but a team like Empire, for example, can run that combo because they'll run the Jackal as well for the ITA, and you get Buck-like play along with the Sledge. Well, got to do some more work to open up that hole. You're not that skinny of an operator, you know, I'm sorry.
Got a big old backpack, but finally gets that opened up. It's a very, honestly, precarious rotate there.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be.
It's very tiny. You're not going to have a lot of visibility in towards like Deer Connector. Yeah. So if someone's pushing from the south side in, you might have some difficulties letting support. But he's also got punch holes now. Okay. Decent setup.
He's got some cameras in there as well. He's got a teammate now. They really want to hold Astronomy, and that's a good thing because Astronomy is pretty key. But we saw what happened last round with Astronomy. It could also be very defensible as well.
I guess WTG not aware that the full wooden barricade hadn't broken yet, so he sends his concussion mine down into the garden.
Well.
So he's got 1 left, and he's also got Unit to contend with inside of Astro. He's upside down on the rappel. which will be beneficial in the engagement.
Yeah, he's hoping for someone to give him a freebie. I don't think Yuna is going to, but you never know here. In the meantime, Yuna's actually going to get Pasha instead, who was trying to get, you know, I think it was a distraction attempt there from WTG that just didn't work down the sledge. We're not going to see much more from him.
Yuna's going to cancel his reload and get ready to engage on anyone pushing in through bathroom, and that would be because the floorboards beneath him have been completely eviscerated. So now Kama going to go for the same flashes over that were so disruptive to gonna smoke. And you know, there's a common saying that a lot of support players are the worst gunners on your team. Kama has definitely proven that quite wrong. Rask holding the flank up Astro Stairs for cameraman as well, so suddenly a round that started off with FaZe getting the opening pick and stand at a man disadvantage.
Well, they can still go for the throws over the wall to try and get that open, but they need to clear out those mute jammers first, so some actual good denial stopping that, as no one's been bringing a Thatcher, but no one was really bringing a Bandit or a mute before either to stop that wall from getting open. But, I mean, they still have some manpower to work with here, but Rask, a little bit low on health. At least he's doing some work this matchup. They are looking like they're getting set up to get this wall open. But again, they still got to clear out those mute jammers. Phone call is going to come out, try and stop things a little bit, but there are a few, at least Ion's going to be prevented by his own mute jammer.
Yeah, they can't get through these mute jammers. Mav's going to overheal himself, and the ping's coming out onto the mana side of Astronomy. I think that's Rask on 5 HP on the Ashe inside of Astro trying to push through. Ion's going to get flashed in the push now, but Astro will shut that down. WTG to fall. The blinding effect of those stun grenades, massive as Rask walks in for one. He downs off a second one, and will finish it off with the pistol. It's all Mav alone in a 1v3 as they try to storm in for the plant, but Shockwave will shut it down. Oh, wow. Baby, the overwhelming fragging power for forZe. They go up 5-2 now.
Rask single-handedly made up for in that round what happened in the previous defensive rounds by getting 3, I think it was that round? At least 2. Definitely.
At least 3.
Definitely a good round for him. So, and that was 2 of those were on this 5 HP. Trophy again as an attempt here. Despite the mute jammers, it really didn't seem to matter too much, but they have some idea, assuming how that attack will go down if forZe repeats themselves. So there is some advantage in repeating here. We did also see forZe repeating it as well, but this is getting dangerously close to being a 2-0.
I think the plan for forZe there was to use Pasha's frag grenades over the wall to get rid of the mute jammers.
Which makes sense if he hadn't died earlier.
Exactly. He dies early in bathroom, and that really threw a kink into the plan for forZe, but their adaptability and their willingness to just strong-headedly push into an area of the map.
Kama pre-firing a Maestro is Thermite.
It's a beautiful shot, man, and that's kind of the individual skill that we're seeing from forZe, and that we saw from Empire that really impressed us early on in their days too. And it's hard not to draw parallels between the two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. This has definitely been a great debut for them in LAN. Regardless of how this goes from now on, they have shown that they are a very powerful team, and I have a feeling they're going to continue to show that here the way things have been going. We'll see if this setup can be a little bit better accommodated to how that attack was coming down. But a lot of that depended on Yuna doing a good job holding this bathroom. He did manage to at least get the Sledge of Pasha last time, but just was unable to follow that up and hold that room too much longer, mostly due to Kama's rush and pre-fire. But I don't know. It's difficult to say how much they'll adjust and how much they'll just try and execute better on the exact same defense. There's the setup again, just like we were talking about last time, to be able to squeeze through there. You really don't want that working too much against them. Last time the floor did get opened up quite a bit underneath Yuna, and that forced him out of position. We could see a similar attempt here, but maybe Ion will be the one to play in there instead, and we'll see Yuna play a different position.
It's quite the spot there for a mute jammer, just setting it behind the desk where typically someone would play. Yeah. Most likely Yuna, but like you said, it might be Ion trying to hold down. Although an SMG-11 against that much force coming in through bathroom and Astro Stairs, I mean, you're going to have to reload a lot in those engagements, and that could be a bit of an error there. It's still Ion playing in Astro, so they have a lot of faith in him to be able to hold that, and that just might be the linchpin that forces them to lose control.
Watching that on cams as they're just barreling through. Yeah, Ion definitely key here. They are starting to drone him out, though, mute jammers aside. Nice, C4 does connect. Wow, WTG, again, not being able to do too much from there. Was, again, too predictable. They knew how he did it last time, read into it. They figured he was going to go for a push potentially soon after the drone going through. This is on Pasha to try and win this fight this time. Drones are trying to help him. They will make the callouts, and he wins the fight against Yuna this time, actually, who had taken his place. So that means Ion escapes and just really trades bodies with poor Yuna.
So they burn out the ADS inside of Astro to continue their push through. They've now secured that, as that tight rotate isn't going to allow anyone through very freely. So Ion still playing up against the wall. The Mute Jammer is still troublesome here for FaZe. I don't even think they want to get the wall, man.
No.
They have not made much of an attempt.
It didn't make much of a difference to them last round.
Oh, they're going to go for it here.
All right.
Kama's going to burn out the ADSs. He's got one charge left in the second ADS there for Ion.
Pasha's still alive this time, so he could grenade over like we were talking about, but he's going...
Yep.
Is he going to just go for a push on the other side instead?
It worked out last time for forZe, so why not? Run it right back.
Nope. Pasha instead grenades his teammate.
Well, at least cleans it up onto Ion as well. And the bait there from Pasha on the turn. There goes Astro. 3 on the round. No, technically 4 on the round for Pasha. But Mav and Cameraman strike back with force. Now it's Pasha alone in a 1v2. Mav in the engagement inside of the Deer Connector as Pasha pushed through. He sees the corner of his arm. He tags him once, but the swing from Cameraman will save his nearly fallen teammate. And that'll be FaZe keeping themselves alive here. It was almost loser bracket point. But Cameraman and Mav together in the 2v1 against Pasha. They strike back fiercely, and FaZe continue to persevere amidst some of probably the best competition they're going to have to play all weekend.
Yeah.
Or week.
I got to imagine, though, if you're Pasha, you're kicking yourself for that grenade. That's a big bummer in a situation like that where they thought they were going to make things work here, but instead just end up grenading your teammate. Rask, although, hadn't had a huge impact a lot of rounds anyway, so maybe that wasn't the worst potential kill, but it certainly doesn't help to lose a teammate in a tight situation like that. Now, we'll see if he can make up for it this round, as they are going to go to Aviator now. They've only played 2 rounds on defense before. Both those were on Trophy, so we don't know how their Aviator defense will go. They can't play Trophy again for 2 rounds, so maybe that will work out in the favor of forZe, because if Trophy was their best bomb site, now they have a chance to attack the weaker ones for 2 rounds and potentially be able to go forward in the bracket. It's tested here from FaZe. Pasha up there at 11 kills. Definitely some good plays last round. It's just unfortunate he lost a lot of teammates as he was trying to make that push happen, forcing him into that 2v1. It is unfortunate also that he missed the shots onto the dock, because that could have turned it quickly into a 1v1. He might have been able to win against, I think it was the Legion.
Yeah, against Cameraman, came for the swing on the Legion. It would have been close if he was able to take down Mav, but nonetheless, teamwork makes the dream work, and FaZe continue to press on. So they're going to go over to Aviator and Games Room now in the defense, and not a lot of lineup changes for forZe, although the Dokkaebi has been dropped for the Nomad. So trying to quell a little bit of a potential roam coming out from FaZe. Cameraman seems like the only one off-site right now. He's downstairs throwing some Legion Mines down towards Piano. There's not a lot of vertical soft destruction being used by forZe, so yeah, this is going to be a horizontal take from the top floor, from the master side all the way over to 90. Kind of similar to what FaZe implemented on their rush that didn't end so well.
Yeah. Well, Shockwave going to take over the repel on the astronomy window this time after WTG not really doing so great on it previously.
What is WTG shooting at?
Everything on the map, apparently. He's just...
Oh,
he was afraid.
He was pre-firing for the run out. Okay.
Yeah, he just missed it. He's getting a little shaky, I think.
I think they're just ready for FaZe to really start swinging.
Yeah.
That's what I would be anticipating right now if I were forZe, to FaZe really start swinging for the fences.
Runouts and craziness.
I mean, what are you going to lose at this point, right? Playing safe hasn't gotten you very far in this game, so take a different approach. They've certainly tried it to their heart's content on the attack, and on the defense, they might be able to accomplish a little bit more with that kind of aggression.
Rask just waiting for the right callouts, droning coming out from Kama, so he knows it's clear to repel and move on down. And decides, oh, gunshots coming through the window, not the right place to go down. He's going to rotate to another side, but he needs to start getting in the building and doing some work, and that's exactly what he's going to do into the top floor there. He's going to start putting pressure onto, I believe, 90. He does get caught on camera, though.
Lots of drones coming in for forZe, but they're being shot down immediately, and these Valkyrie cameras from Yuna doing a lot of work right now, spotting out a lot of members of forZe, really telegraphing the push. The flashbangs ringing in from the study balcony? What's going on here? Looks like there's at least one member from forZe outside on the window balcony. It's going to force Astro to hit the deck. It's Kama actually on the Thermite, who's dealing with a couple. Shockwave in tandem as well. You hear Mav overheal himself as the flashbangs come raining in, turning the corner. Shockwave can't even get one. Wow. There's a little bit of damage on the Mav, but now the swing's coming from Astro from inside a study. Now he's going to duck back in behind the fireplace, turning the corner once again, but the lineup, it isn't right for Shockwave. Ion will take down Rask as well, and forZe not having a lot of success on their entry in. Heavy swing coming out from Yuna now in the midst of Study. And now that's, oh my, what a shot from Astro to drop down Kama. So it's a 2v5 now. The run out just to secure the kill. Add insult to injury. Cameraman drops WTG. It's a flawless round for FaZe Clan as they try and run this one back on Villa. They are on the favored side right now on the defense. And forZe, that was the first time we've really seen them stifled in a round, other than the first round of Clubhouse.
Yeah, just missing too many shots again. It was like some of those late rounds on defense where they just started whiffing way too many shots. I mean, they have the confidence to be able to make the plays and stuff, but just if you miss those shots, those repeats are not really working out for them. They're not able to secure the kills after they get the intel. Some of it seems to depend on the element of surprise, and when FaZe gets the element of surprise on them, seems to be working out pretty well. They're going to go to their third bomb site now, though, which is Dining. Maybe this will turn things around after the last 2 rounds of wins from FaZe for forZe to be able to get it to that map and match point. But it is quickly closing up onto a tie and potential overtime here soon. We'll see. Dining is going to be a little bit of a different attack here. We'll see if they go for top floor control as well, or if they just go all bottom floor to push it. Usually you want some top floor control at least, though, so I can imagine the top floor defenders, the roamers up there, are going to be a big part of the initial kills, whether it's one way or the other. Pasha definitely doing some good work at 11. Shockwave at 9. The rest of his team, though, all 4s. So, not great, but not super high scores either from FaZe, although a bit more spread out amongst the team. Pretty much similar attack and defense lineups coming out from both these teams, though. Not really varying it up all that much. Which, to be fair, has worked for both teams, depending on the bomb site and the strats. But it is interesting to see how many rounds now FaZe has been able to win on both Trophy and Aviator now. If they can win Dining, this could really go the distance.
Absolutely. So we're going to see if forZe can implement their same strategy of pushing from the far side over like they did last time and maybe have a little more success with it. And they're heading in towards Masters to start things off. WTG back on the upside down rappel outside of the Astro window. And looks like Ras is about to be in an engagement quickly with, I think that's Mav, just inside of the laundry door. Pings will come out from the drones that come in, and he's playing incredibly dangerously close, but Pasha will get down to off-screen upstairs. It's like Cameraman's doing battle with him. Shockwave's going to hit a Legion Mine and have to back out as well, so they can't come in and support Pasha just yet. He's bleeding out inside of the closet, but wow, quite the heroic rescue there from Kama to pick up Pasha, and he'll continue on. So missed opportunity there for FaZe, but Astro will clean it up onto Shockwave regardless as he barrels back down the hallway and tries to recoup with Cameraman.
This is quite the fight back coming up here. WTG and Pasha both at such low health. This could quickly turn into a 5v2. See if Rask can do something about that with his flashbangs. Unfortunately mistimed, and Ion completely takes advantage.
So it's down to a 3v5 now for forZe. WTG and Pasha both on 1 shot's worth of health. Kama gonna have to be a backpack a little bit, or carry the rest of the backpack of the team to pull this one to a victory and put us on match point and series point. If not, we're gonna equalize here on Villa. And it could be FaZe taking it back and pushing us to a map number 3. Map 3 would be Consulate should we get to it. Thermite charge coming out onto the floor right behind the island now and reading the rotate well, but cannot land the shots. Astro laying into him, and now everyone on forZe is 1 shot. Thermite charge will come out and disrupt a lot of the players playing in behind the island, but a second one now over towards the Tarp's walls. Good soft destruction up above, but the second Thermite charge gets shot. The Sledgehammer not doing a lot of work. Pasha will die through the floorboards. Looking for more now as Yuna will drop Kama. It's all WTG now on about 5 HP. Diffuser surrendered upstairs, and there's not a lot to be done. This is looking like it's going to be back-to-back flawless rounds here for FaZe.
Yeah, this round's looking very impotent from forZe. They just have not been able to do much other than a little bit of hurt on Astro, and that's not going to count for much, especially with WTG at such low health. He does have some lifelines left, but not much else to speak of here. Just not looking good. And that's going to tie things up here as soon as this round ends to put it at a potential for tie, or even for FaZe to be able to take this map without going to overtime and take it to map 3. WTG hoping they get greedy here. Astro may do exactly that, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have enough time to do anything, even if he was able to win most of the fights. Flawless round, as you said. Now we'll get a tactical timeout from forZe. And rightly so.
I mean, at this point, might want to regroup here. This is your opportunity to send FaZe down the losers bracket and push on through a very deep group. You win this map right here. You win 2 of the next 2 rounds, or 3 of the next possible 5. Then you've got an opportunity to play Dark Zero tomorrow in the winners match, and then you've sent FaZe down to the losers portion to play against Fnatic. Either way, whether you win or lose this game, you got a tough game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, this group, Group D, is incredibly stacked as well, especially with forZe coming out of the woodwork like this. I think a lot of teams were labeling Group C the group of death just because we know there's a tangible track history for all the teams inside of Group C. Group D was a little bit more of a wild card because nobody really knew what forZe was going to be.
Yeah.
This is starting to scare me a little bit for the entire group.
Yep, now D is for death.
I mean, we saw what happened when Empire went up against Dark Zero. What's going to happen if Mini Empire go up against Dark Zero, you know?
It certainly could be an interesting one, that's for sure.
Yep.
I mean, that's assuming forZe can pull this back. They are starting to lose a lot of that traction that they had early on.
I mean, FaZe on Consulate, that could be a good game for them. All they got to do is win 2 more here.
It's not going to be easy.
It's a tough ask. I mean, you're down 4-2 at the half, so you really got to turn on the jets here. You got to win 5 out of 6 in regulation just to get it. Looks like attack timeout's over. forZe have regrouped, and they're looking to put this one away. It's going to be trophy and statuary for FaZe in the defense.
Shockwave has been toggling between 3 different roam dealing with operators, Lion, Dokkaebi, and Nomad during that timeout. He was kind of trying to decide which one to go with. It looks like he might stick the Dokkaebi. But either way, just trying to control those roamers a bit more. Yuna actually going to sneak onto the Valkyrie to have those extra cams, which may just get spotted by the IQ anyways. So we'll see how effective those end up being. But they're back to trophy, as you mentioned. This is definitely a good bomb site for them. So we'll see if they can continue their reign of terror on it. And if they can, of course, that pushes it towards that potential overtime, or a potential win even, into map 3. I don't know, though. I have some faith forZe can come back after how well they've been playing. It's not like the breaks really helped as much for FaZe, but you never know. See how heavy the roam is and whether or not they're going to play aggressively in Master Bedroom, as it looks like Cameraman might be for right now. They've been definitely struggling on controlling Astronomy as well. Hopefully WTG is not going to be in that window again. That's been the window of death for him on Astronomy every time.
Bit of a swap up for forZe as well, dropping the Nomad back to the Dokkaebi and an IQ coming out for WTG off the Zofia.
Yeah, I'm trying to switch things up a little bit to control these roamers.
We'll see what happens with forZe. They've obviously regrouped and taken some time to think about this round, obviously with their tack timeout. And you can see there's 2 ADSs in the back there beside a Mute Jammer. Not sure if he has all 3 allocated to him or just the 2. Looks like it's just the 2. And the good thing about those deep ADSs is that if an EMP hits the wall, it won't actually get any of that utility that's over by the door. It's too deep. So you have to throw a deep EMP by the bathtub.
And they're not likely to
opposite
do
the bathtub
that.
and bathroom.
Yeah. So, well played. We'll see if that keeps the wall intact, because that wall has definitely been a struggle for forZe to take. But no, WTG is going to be on that window again, just as a different operator.
I'm just curious why no one's been bringing Thatcher this entire game.
Yeah,
It seems like it would simplify a lot of the issues that have been happening. And Astro's going to go for a long run out. Oh no, but that'll be caught off immediately by Rask. So a good trade nonetheless. You lose the smokes on Shockwave, you lose the logic bombs, but you also lose Astro. Decent trade.
Yeah, Astro's died enough, so it doesn't really matter, it seems. But yeah, that was a good trade for Astro, I think. Not too bad. Luckily, that didn't take out his own barbed wire, at least.
So he was checking the cam, and he saw that he was inside the bathroom door to Master, not the bathroom door to Astronomy.
Yeah, he was hoping that was going to change, I guess.
I guess. That seems like a missed opportunity there for
Yeah,
FaZe.
especially since he now bailed out of Astronomy.
Yeah, he surrendered the control here. This is... I mean, that's quite the questionable play there for FaZe, and for Yuna specifically.
Pest almost catching the drone, but then he's going to take it out. And we're not seeing a lot of scanning coming out from WTG here, but he's going to go around back to supporting his teammates instead of playing Astronomy, since that's already been taken care of. Cameraman, though, going for the roam. He's not going to get Logic Bomb called anymore, at least, thanks to the early pick. But Ion actually picks off Rask, who was the one to trade out the kill onto Astro. So that's the Ash down, who has been actually somewhat impactful.
Spotted Pasha as well is going to deal a lot of damage to Ion now as he goes for the crouch peek. A frag grenade coming in will drop Ion down to about 20, even less than that. As Mav's going to overheal himself, but Ion will still win out onto Pasha. Come on the trade onto Yuna, though. So there goes your Valkyrie. Cameraman retreating back to the objective. This is a 2v3. One member on extremely low HP is Ion, but they do have a crossfire inside of Statuary. Playing point blank with the shotgun. Kama trying to stay at a reasonable range to make sure he can't be picked off. While Ion's distracted, this could be the perfect opportunity to push on a Statuary. WTG with 2. Oh, it's all up to Mav and the overheal. The plant needs to start going down here from Kama as WTG has the cover from Master. If Mav swings around the corner, he's got his entire angle cordoned off. Mav rushes in and he takes down Kama. Low HP on WTG. The spray will not connect. Still has the overheal and he's going to be rushing for the kill, trying to get extremely aggressive. Long rotation here for WTG, and I think he's on Valkyrie camera. Defuse coming out from Mav, and WTG's playing incredibly slow. Finally, Mav will pull off in the overhead now. And now Mav, his overheal is wearing off. Looks like he was debating faulting over there. Lots of sprays come wildly out, and he's going to down and finish him off. Mav in the 1v2 is able to clutch it in the post plant, and that is going to be FaZe putting themselves on map point, possibly salvaging this entire matchup.
Definitely a little bit of misplay there in terms of WTG not doing a good enough job covering his teammate from the doorway. Maybe didn't know where the dock was going to be coming from, but you really needed to cover him better so he could escape at least. Even some pre-fires would have worked just to let him get out of the room, so you could have made it a 2v1 to fight the angles better. And then unfortunately getting in a gunfight there that was unfavorable towards the end, but either way it was a great attempt. At least getting the plant down from forZe was the play, but just could not follow it up. Great clutch there from Mav. Definitely looking like FaZe are still, and this is, you mentioned, defender-sided map, and it is certainly looking that way, especially for FaZe, I guess, at this point, although it's kind of even either way. Monty going to come out from Kama. Now they're making this interesting. There's the pulse I was talking about that I wish they'd played on Clubhouse, going to come out from Mav. I'm interested to see how this Monty's going to work out, but that could actually be countered to an extent by the Pulse, who might be able to spot him from below and get a C4. Definitely a big weakness for the Monty in general. Not to mention they've got the goo mines for that. This is going to be tricky for him to live through. Astra, despite dying early off, and he still is up there at 10 kills, doing quite well on this map, at least in terms of still being effective. He also has the highest, second highest number of deaths, though. But hey, at least he's somewhat trading them 1 for 1 there. Pasha also doing well for Steam along with Shockwave. Need to pick it up a little bit, though, if they want to make sure to close this out in a 2-0. Feel like they're losing a bit of their steam.
Well, I mean, props to FaZe for staying in this. It looked like it was all but over, and it's going to be a forZe wipe. But instead, FaZe continue to battle back. Now they have a lead for the 2nd time today, if I'm not mistaken. Or 3rd time today, sorry. They went up 1-0 on Clubhouse, lost 7 straight. They went up 2-1 on Villa, and then they lost 3 in a row. 4 in a row, sorry. And then it's been a storm back to this point here.
Well, let's see if FaZe can keep it up and take it to the next map. They only have to win 2 rounds now to be able to give themselves a chance in map number 3. As you said, Consulate not a bad map for FaZe, but they've got to get there first. And since there's no draws, there's still, of course, a chance forZe can win this. They just have to take it to overtime first to do so. So basically, they've got to win 3 of the next 4 rounds, in theory.
Not impossible, but not the simplest of tasks. All it takes is forZe to win this attacking round right here, and they've put Kama on the Montaigne now as a rotation, carrying the Diffuser as well, so possibly trying to maybe even continue to be more headstrong than they already have been on their pushing power.
Here's the upside, though. If forZe can take this and they start defense on the overtime rounds, that puts them in a 2-point advantage in theory if they can continue the streaks from earlier, and then they win. So they're not the worst situation possible. They've got to win this round to do it, but it's certainly possible. See if that Monty is the game changer they need, though.
I feel like FaZe will be well equipped to deal with a shield. I just don't know if they know it's coming.
Yeah.
I'm sure by now they've heard it marching around a few times, so
yeah,
they'll have to change up their playstyle a little bit to try and contend with Kama. But Kama's also incredibly alone. He has no one within the same zip code to try and help him.
WTG also seeming to get a little stalled out here.
He's locked down inside a bike, and Cameraman's going to impact his way out on a rotation. That's why he was locked down inside a bike. He's got a defender on either door.
Yeah, this is not a good spot to be in. Pink's coming out as well. Mav, though, just holding an angle. Rask, though, does take down Cameraman, and that's the Legion down. That's going to help out the Monty in terms of less goo mines for him to waddle through. WTG looking for a pick here. That could be the Pulse, who's actually going to peel off down to the basement. Smoke's going to come out, not do too much damage to Kama, so he's going to bait out at least some utility. He also has his 2 smokes in his pocket to be able to help with the plant. Pasha going to try and open things up and actually gets punished for it.
And that's Astro playing inside of Aviator, close to the reinforcement. And Vault coming in from Shockwave to try and double team Astro. This could be difficult here for him to contend with. He's got support from inside of Vault right now from Yuna, but also pressure from Kama coming from the Aviator door as well. That impact does a lot of damage onto Kama, so he's down to about 30 HP. And it's a split push here for forZe, and the dying seconds, 10 seconds remaining as they tick down against them. The prone peak will not be successful, 2 for FaZe to try bullying their way in. WTG will at least trade back Mav, rushing in on the pre-fire, but Ion again wins it out against Rask, and that is FaZe, sending us to map number 3, the comeback of remarkable proportions for the Latin American team. And forZe had victory in their sights, but they let it slip through their fingers, and we're heading to Consulate.
What a series of plays. Defensive-sided is an understatement for that map there, but wow. What great plays from FaZe. Absolutely finally finding the weaknesses in forZe to be able to play against. The question is, can they import that into Consulate, or is it just going to be down to the teams trying to figure out each other again? Hard to say.
Well, as we show you guys the replays, we need a little bit of a breather here for both the teams and the casters and all of production. We're going to take a short break, and on the other side, it's FaZe, it's forZe, it's the last map of the day on the B stream. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to rock. We're ready to roll. We're ready to close things out for day number 1 on the B stream. It's FaZe, it's forZe. It looked like things were getting out of control and out of hand real quick for FaZe, but they bring it back through pure desperation, honestly. On Villa, we're going to Consulate.
Yep.
This is possible for the comeback here for FaZe. Clubhouse looked ugly. The beginning of Villa looked ugly, and yet they still stand tall. So we're heading into Consulate. It'll be map 3 between Latin America and Russia. The mini empires a lot of people have dubbed forZe, and it's hard not to see the parallels between these two teams.
Yeah, and they're looking a little bit dismayed, though, that they didn't manage to close out that last map, because they did get pretty close to doing so, but they're starting on defense to work. I mean, had they been able to close out that last round in terms of going to overtime, I do think they could have been done on that map, as they had the advantage in starting on defense in overtime, and that's really got to definitely kind of get to you in terms of like, oh, we were so close to closing it out. Now we've got to play a whole nother map because of that. That's definitely a bit of a bummer, but it looks like Una getting a bit tired as well. This has got to be an exhausting match between these guys because they're trying to play aggression when they can, but that takes a lot out of you. You gotta adrenaline boost yourself biochemically in real life to be able to make a lot of these plays happen, and that's going to start to burn you out after a while.
Well, we're at the end of the line here. It is guaranteed the last map of the day. We didn't go super, super, super long like we did day 1 of SI, but we've still gone for a while here, and a lot of these players have been around since the beginning of the day, doing some other media obligations, warming up and scrimming against other teams, just getting prepared for this match. And you know, it's long days at the majors. It always is. You got to be ready to withstand that. It's not just about your skill. It's about your stamina. It's about your teamwork. It's about your cohesion, your ability to work together as a team, to work through problems mid-game, even when you are tired as hell.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, they don't have to play the entire day, but they've got to play today. They've got to play tomorrow. They've got to play the next day. This is assuming they're winning.
Yep.
And then 3 more days after that. So it's a marathon for sure. And of course, on top of that, you've got to watch VODs. You've got to stay on top of what the other teams are doing. You've got to be developing new strats and working on what worked and what didn't from your team from that day. It is a marathon, but that's why the prize pool is so big for these majors. That's why people work so hard to get here. It's a pretty big deal for this game, for these teams, for these people. It's their livelihood at this point. I'm definitely feeling pretty passionate about it. A lot of discussion coming out here while they have the opportunity to discuss freely. They also have a chance to, I believe, talk with the coach. Hearing right now, they can still talk to him. They don't have to use timeout for this because the map hasn't started yet. So hopefully they'll get underway soon here, though.
I don't know what Mav is so bent out of shape about.
Maybe he's just excited that they won. It just looks like he's tilted.
It looks like he's pretty pissed off in general. I don't know what about, but I don't know. FaZe are getting worked up about something here.
We'll see if it backfires on them in terms of their initial rounds.
I mean, that's how they are in general. You always see them talking like that. When they're winning or losing, they're always going at it. And
they always look so angry.
It's not that. I don't know. Yeah, I was just losing it over something, but it looks like we're ready to get underway.
All right.
Consulate between FaZe and forZe. We're jumping in. It is map 3. Winner moves on to face Dark Zero. Loser will have a date with Fnatic in the losers portion of the bracket tomorrow. Neither will be an easy game. Neither will be an easy walk. We are 1 map apiece. It's a brand new ball game. Everything from the past thrown out the window. Let's see how both of these teams perform on Consulate.
We'll see how the bands go. forZe is starting on defense. They're going to man Capitao first.
Not a big shock seeing a lot of Capitao banned today. This is the first time we have casted Consulate, but not the first time it's been present. It was, I believe, actually map 2 on the other game on the A stream between Norengo and MIBR. I believe that one's wrapping up. It is 5, or last I saw during our break, it was 5-5 on map 2.
Interesting choice for this particular map. Not necessarily the most impactful, though.
Still have all your hard breachers up.
Yeah.
Still have all your flank denial up. There's a lot of utility still available on the attacking side, but losing a Thatcher, I mean, that will help you with your basement defenses.
Yeah.
You're going to have to establish piano control, or at least piano windows control. And that
or you can go for the ballsy yellow stairs, pop it and shoot.
That's always something that I think most teams think is a lot, and most people in general think is a lot easier to pull off than it is in actuality.
You just need to know whether or not there's someone playing on the side of white van usually, and whether or not there's someone on yellow stairs itself.
Yeah.
If it's not, you can just take a quick opportunity to do that. Obviously, if you already have the door open and everything like that. It is a little bit risky, but it's actually less risky than standing in piano and aiming downwards, to be honest. We will start upstairs, though.
I mean, I would pretend I can hear what you're saying, but Sam and John are just going at it right now, so...
Yeah. It must be pretty intense.
Whatever you said, I agree with it.
Cool.
Cool.
2 thumbs up.
Nailed it.
Let's see how this console defense goes. It is funny, though, that finally the Capitao gets banned after 2 previous maps where it was not, despite the earlier match we did, or a lot of the early matches we did, Capitao being banned a lot more often. We got the Nomad here coming out from Cameraman. That's definitely been pretty helpful with the number of stairwells that are very impactful on this particular map, especially being knocked down. Those definitely is going to be a big hint that you're trying to go for that flank. Actually opening up quite a bit of the wall there. That shouldn't work too much against them. In fact, they can even rotate the drop down the hatch. Could be pretty useful if they're starting to get pressured from top of Spiral.
Seems pretty typical for a lot of this. A lot of the setup seems pretty default. There's not a lot out there, honestly.
It could work against them a little bit because the Habana can open up part of the hard part of that wall, and then with the soft part open as well, that room can get pretty deadly. Although that can work against the attackers if they're going to plant in there.
I feel like Kama might have been going for a spawn peek of the yellow stairs window as the Maestro. So I mean, props to the aggression and the cojones to really. I think that would be a fun time.
Seems well within their wheelhouse at this point.
Astra lost 10 HP. I don't know how.
He dropped this drone on his foot. Oh, Shockwave lost a lot more than 10 HP. Don't double peek it, guys. Are you going to do it? I saw another silhouette moving towards there. Now he moved on. You don't usually see a Zofia just standing there at spawn, but it seemed to work out.
I think for FaZe, they're sick and tired of the aggression that forZe have been bringing, and they're going to start baiting it out a lot more, and I think that's why we've been seeing a lot of FaZe rounds go into the overtime or 10 seconds left they're pushing. It seems kind of vitality gas, but it's, you got to sit around and bait it.
Yeah.
You got to try and bait out the aggression coming from forZe because it's never ending.
Well, they did manage to do
an
admin take, though pretty early while Astro was doing that.
Yep. So they're going to open up the long angle from admin. You're going to be able to see over towards the plant spot that's been shotgunned from underneath and from above to play from lobby. I imagine Astro will be covering lobby considering he's jump out patrol today. Looks like he's repelled outside of A balcony. So he can go upside down and immediately get to peeking into WTG, or he can go and peek main lobby and get off the rappel rather quickly. He's going to actually station himself on the balcony here, and WTG is going to smoke himself out. He didn't throw it towards the balcony. He just wanted to reposition, but his legs are visible, and Astro will collect that one. 2 on the round for him. It's a beautiful start here for FaZe.
Definitely good. Astro with 2 for himself already, and he hasn't even entered the building yet. Definitely a good play for him, trying to make up for some of the rounds he struggled on Villa, although, like I said, he had a pretty good kill count for that map. He's definitely doing some good work here, laying the groundwork for his team to push on in and actually take control of Projector. But looks like they're trying to soften up a lot of the rest of the map here, trying to soften up Connector, because that's the one big counter usually to pushing into Projector is people playing inside Connector, especially smokes, being able to smoke, but WTG was the smoke inside Projector, so that's not going to be an issue. We do have some long angles they can play with the 2 ACOGs, but Kama takes a bunch of damage. Plant attempts to go down, but Rask actually going to counter it, killing Yuna. So it's not looking the best all of a sudden, but Astro going to go for it again here once it takes out this barbed wire.
So they still have the evil eyes, multiple evil eyes up, and Pasha from Connector. Actually, that's all the way inside of B by the CEO desk. Rask will be downed and Kama on low HP. Another beautiful shot there for Pasha. He's angling in and playing off the pings. The bullet hole's now crossing. There's not a lot of time remaining for FaZe as they need to start getting the plant down. They don't even have the diffuser in hand. They're pushing for the kills. It's not going to happen. Mav will get shut down. And forZe in the 3v5 to start things off. Everything looked wonderful for FaZe. And that one failed plant attempt sent them on a spiral.
Yeah. I love the confidence, too, from Pasha. Just pulls out the pistol. Doesn't even try and reload and switch back. He's like, I just got to hold this spot. I don't care what I do it with. Give me a slingshot. I'm holding Connector. They're not getting anywhere from here. And he absolutely did that. That was really well played on his part because that stopped them from being able to really make much progress. Then the crossfire from the bathroom, of course, finished the job on that. But yeah, there was definitely some misplays at the beginning of the round, but they absolutely salvaged that. Like you said, Rask stopping the plant from going down completely turned the entire round downhill for the rest of FaZe, because Astro could not do much. They didn't have a lot of time to try and push or pressure connector. I like the angle that he used, opening up Pasha. Having that angle allowed him to be able to counter it without having to play inside connector. So the pressure that was on the window didn't really make much of a difference. We'll see how this garage attack goes down, though. They are going to bring a Dokkaebi and an IQ this time, but also we're going to see a Mozzie and Mute come out here from forZe. They're going to be denying a lot of droning, a lot of identifying of their position. I wonder if they're going to get someone up in bathroom, just playing the old solid hang out in bathroom defense as long as possible, and then drop down, or if they're just going to play it a little bit differently. I mean, with both a Mute and a Mozzie, you should be able to play in there for a while, in theory. But you never know. They're going to open up a lot of rotates here. WTG is at least. This shotgun. They also have the bailiff as well if they need extra holes set up, and I imagine probably the shotgun on Shockwave as well. I guess as well as the shorty on Mozzie, so they've got 4 shotguns right now that you think about it, essentially.
So I don't know if everyone else could hear Sam and John screaming as much as we could, but it sounds...
It's the theme of the day.
Spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. It sounds like MIBR and Nora are going to map 3.
Oh boy.
And hell yes they are as Sam walks in front of me.
We certainly are there already, just slightly ahead of these guys, making it to our map 3. But I think these last matches really going all the way so far. There's the use of that shotgun as well. I'm talking about the 4 shotguns and they're using them.
Mm-hmm. A lot of soft destruction potential on both sides of the board, really. You got a Buck, you've got maybe Ion carrying some breaching charges, Cameraman can bring some breaching charges, Astro's going to take a lot of damage from that bullet hole.
Like across the map.
See all the spray coming in from the CZ here from Astro as he's going to have to go for the full reload, and honestly, this pressure here from FaZe is being quelled quite quickly here for forZe. Not a lot of contention, and not a lot of damage being done to FaZe. Sorry, to forZe by FaZe. Rask will actually pick up the first kill, so starting off better than he did on Villa, that's for darn sure.
Yeah, that's for sure, yeah. Especially against Astro. It's a good initial pick. If he dies now upstairs, as long as he's burned a bit of time, he's done his job.
You see Pasha has his own drone inside a connector, and he's just baiting it. He's on it right now, but he's not moving it anywhere, and Cameraman's going to take a lot of damage to the wall. Rask still on a rampage right now with Pasha joining in as well from the top of Yellow Stairs, rotating into the bathroom, and Shockwave actually gets that kill with a shotgun from bathroom downstairs.
They're getting greedy.
And it's a 3-way crossfire right now for forZe onto any of the members pushing in up top, and there go your smoke grenades on Astro, there go your air jabs on Cameraman. Yeah, FaZe are going to bail out of this. This top floor push really did not bear any fruit for them.
Just leave them upstairs at this point. I would even just try and cut them as they rotate back down. But there's the Yellow Stairs push. Did get over there. They don't have a thermite, though, to be able to open the wall. Maybe they just weren't predicting Garage, or they just didn't care. But there was a sloppy play. Somehow works to an extent for Mav, but Kama and Shockwave take it down too. Traded off by Rask on the kill from Mav. And that's forZe taking the round again. Much cleaner this time, mind you.
Yeah, that top floor attack really lackluster there for FaZe, pushing 1 by 1 into a 4-16 of Rask, and then the tag team there from Pasha, Rask, and Shockwave all together onto Connector. That was a choke point if I've ever seen one. So it's back-to-back defensive wins for forZe. Really looked like FaZe should have taken the first round there, having that 5v3 advantage, going for a plan pretty early on, and kind of all collapses on them. So Shockwave, I highly doubt he's sticking that.
Yeah, but the Finka probably coming out again from FaZe.
There we go. I'm a genius.
How did you know?
Maybe they like gunning people.
Yeah.
Who knows?
There is a gun still in Clash, but yeah, that's not the primary thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think Shockwave's going to be walking around with a shield on his back the whole time like a turtle shell, just using the SMG9.
They are going to go gunning on FaZe, though. They bring in the Finka, and now they're 6-picking over to the Twitch. This looks like a gunner kind of round.
Hey, we saw that earlier on in the Secret and Rogue game to start things off today on the B stream. It was Feral, 6-picked over to a Twitch. Barely had any kills. Oh. Now that's just mean.
You get bored?
That's just mean.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a commentary on how long the loading screen was taking.
Maybe.
Or a commentary on FaZe. It could have been about the loading screen. I know some.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him the
earlier.
benefit of the doubt on the loading screen.
Only because there were some complaints earlier about the slow loading. Yeah, let's hope that wasn't BM.
I mean, Pasha, chill, buddy. It's your first international
He's so
game.
bored already. He's like, why have we not won yet?
Chill, brother, chill.
You guys better not be complaining, or you should have won on map 2.
Yeah.
That's your own fault.
Give me that.
See if this castle can slow them down a bit this round. Pasha going for a peek, but this time trying to play it a little more safe. Just peeking through the window. No freebies for him, though.
Well, looks like Ion was putting that Twitch drone to good use. Zapped Rask once in prep phase, so
There you
he's
go.
down at 90. You know, you make that call to the team. You got to put it in all chat too. You know, Jaeger 90 HP.
Very important.
Very important.
Good use of the Twitch drone when there's, you know, Maestro Evil Eyes up and stuff still.
Oh, 100%. You never know, man. All it takes is one shot.
Yeah.
Maybe that 10 HP is the difference maker on this entire
Should
round.
have been on the
phase.
dock. That would have really mattered.
That would have definitely been a difference maker. So for the attack here for FaZe, God only knows what they're attempting to do. It looked like they wanted to go in through admin again and then thought better of it, and now they've gone for a rotation out. There's air jabs coming. Okay, bye,
All right.
Pasha.
Hello.
I guess he was getting bored because
Yeah.
he's going to hit an air. No, he's not going to hit an air jab. He's going to shoot the air jab out of midair while vaulting. Pasha,
All right.
kind of insane.
Yeah, that's why he's bored. If he's not doing this, it's nap time for Pasha.
So FaZe, I guess, thought better of thinking better
Oh,
of
the
going
shock
for
drone.
the admin take, and they're going to try and run it back. So that's both shock drones presumably gone, because I don't think Rask allows a shock drone that shoots him to
Yeah.
disappear into the night.
I think Ion's just going for the F2 now at this point. They did take admin, though, after all.
I mean, that's a really good excuse to make if you're a Twitch player, although
Oh.
it's dead now at the hands of Rask. It's a good excuse to make. You know, all my drones are dead. I can't drone.
Yeah.
I'm zapping people.
Just
to get
ask
them out of the way.
Rexon, who likes to throw them right into pests.
Exactly. Just send them. That's all you're here
Oh,
for.
here we go. These peaks are so common now, these little tiny pixel peaks. And he was expecting it, did a bit of damage on the Pasha, but that's the dock. You're not really going to stop him here. I like that he's got a multitude of holes to work with, but the pressure did change here. He managed to get up. Did not lose the fight just yet, but Astro is at pretty low health. That could be a crossfire to come out at some point.
Sounds like a shockwave with the UMP as well, and that's going to force Astro to bail out. He gets downed on the A balcony, or the meeting room balcony. And now the frag coming in from Yuna as he pushes in through the meeting room door. Astro's going to pick himself back up. Kama, though, will shut down Yuna, so it's a 5 HP Astro vaulting back into meeting room, picking up the diffuser. But all these kill holes from down below. His teammate of Mav, the only one remaining for FaZe, on spiral stairs. There's a man inside the closet, and clearly
Drop
they
him.
know this. Yep, they're going to drop
Good
him
night.
down. So they drop him out of the site, but WTG not falling for anything. 5 HP, not enough, and Mav will take down Rask on the rotate at the very least, but in the midst of toxic gas, there goes another one from Mav. Will take down WTG as well. He's waiting for a rotate up spiral stairs, although he killed the guy who was spiral stairs already, and now it's again forZe on a rampage early on. Shockwave shuts down Mav, and FaZe looking like they're losing what momentum they may have had coming out of Villa.
There's some decent attempts at plays. Astro getting up as close as he did to connector, trying to put the pressure onto Yuna, or not Yuna, but sorry, I'm blanking on his name. On Pasha,
Pasha, yeah.
who was playing the dock inside console. That was definitely a smart play. And then Yuna getting the kill when he did was great because that gave Astro the chance to pick himself back up. But then as soon as Yuna got traded, and then Astro didn't have a whole lot of health left, that ended up just not really going anywhere, despite some initial good traction. And just trying to fight it from above wasn't doing them a ton of good, especially when the defenders were able to rotate back up. I'm going to try, again, more aggression here, this time on the Ashe. I don't know if it's been working out super great when you've got 3 rounds down already on your attacks. I don't know if getting more aggressive is the solution necessarily.
They haven't really been long rounds either. Like, we're talking like 230, 250
Yeah.
on each round. It's... The first round came down to the wire, came down to the dying seconds, but after that, it's kind of been forZe in a walk right now.
Yeah, absolutely. WTG not getting a whole ton of kills just yet, but he definitely has had some plays occasionally. Just pretty evenly distributed between 3s and 4s for the rest of the team, though. Ion and Cameraman have yet to find one themselves, but this hasn't been great rounds for FaZe, so it's not a surprise.
This feels very similar to the Rogue Secret game, where it was each team was having a lot of success in spurts. Just tiny little streaks within the game. So
Yeah.
it makes it kind of back and forth, but not in the way that's like super entertaining and super interesting. it takes like 3 rounds for the momentum to change waves, and unfortunately for FaZe, they're in a valley right now, and they need to kind of come up the other side swinging.
I like that mute jammer on the windowsill, so they can't jump a drone over top of it from the balcony.
You can just chuck it in there.
Yeah, exactly. I like that's. It's like, I guess it's kind of effective, but a pest would work a heck of a lot better. But they didn't bring a Mozzie, so do what you can with what you got, I guess.
That's the thing with forZe, man. They don't really cycle a lot of ops.
No.
They've been very, very consistent in the operators that they've been bringing, and honestly, that's very indicative of what Empire did very early on and still do to the day. And Pasha, he loves his bullet holes.
These things work, though. There's a good reason. I mean, they're getting predicted, though. Astro's doing a good job anticipating them. But now they're just going to act as bait if he wants as well, because he can set those up and then not even use them, but they're going to be expecting him to be on those.
Well, we'll see if Pasha will go for the full send at the CEO windows as well. You know, just completely commit to it at this point. X-Kairos are coming out onto the long angle. Okay. I was going to say, where else would they be? But
yeah.
Onto long angle. Shockwave is prone peeking this. Okay. I like
dangerously.
I like it. Doesn't get punished for it either. Astro's on the rappel on the A balcony windows, and yet Shockwave able to retreat to safety at 100 HP. Hopefully his leg doesn't stick out this time like it did last time, but this is a troublesome start for FaZe once again. You know, you're midway through the round, you haven't really done anything thus far. Shockwave has lost 10 HP inside a meeting room, and you haven't cleared him out just yet. Burning some ADSs with the cameraman. ADS is already burnt. Flashbang detonates without any impediment. So now it's up to FaZe to try and collapse and really hold the long angles properly. It's going to become a holding from bathroom door. That's really going to be the next big mountain that they need to climb.
Astro seeming like he was just going to get stalled out on the balcony for a while. They're actually going to try and make some progress, but there's no one helping him on connector, and that's the big weakness here. Looks like Mav's going to come around and try and help out, probably chuck some grenades into connector, might even go for the rappel on the connector window potentially. This is the important play here, though. Yeah, they're going to try and set up for this. Oh, they need to take out the Evil Eye. That's the play right there. That's definitely hard when you got to cook it just right, but Camera takes down Rask. That's definitely finally some good plays, but he's almost traded back, half his health gone.
It's a good rotation there from cameraman to know that it was Ras down below who got the kill through the kill holes that were pre-placed inside of the site last time for the plant going down. Yuna's going to be attempting once again on the plant, just on top of the bomb. Kama's going to take down one cover of Mav. The smoke choking out Yuna, and he's not going to be able to get it down as he tries to... Oh, he did!
So
he got
close.
it down, barely, even though he dies to the smoke. So it's a man advantage in the post plan here for FaZe as they... Or sorry, now as it's equalized here for FaZe. forZe trying to storm back into A, and 2 quick ones here for FaZe Clan. Pasha will fall. It's down to Shockwave and Kama as they try to regroup and recover their positioning inside of Connector and the A-bomb itself. Kama makes his way in. He might be trying to go for a stick here. Waiting for the peek will be Shockwave as he guns down Cameraman. Down to the 2v2, and Ion needs to go for the peek. The Nitro Cell onto the balcony clears out Astro. It's now down to a 1v2 as Kama's sticking it, but Ion will take down one, and he gets them both. FaZe Clan once again stop the bleeding. It'll look dire there once again, but FaZe persevere. Oh, it's still a 3-1 game. It's still quite the hill to climb.
I feel like that
FaZe
match
are
got
working their way back.
so much better once the plant was down.
Yep.
That became a real good match there. The lead up to that was a bit spotty, but man, once the plant got down, really guns came out and a lot more seeing who could actually play smarter at that point. And it was surprising they gave up projector control as much as they did and just were not able to fight it back very well. You saw Astro just playing his spot outside very effectively. It wasn't until that C4 finally came out they were able to shut him down. But that should have been predicted. They've been playing kind of that way the last few times when it was lobby as well. So they've got to anticipate those kind of moves. They are going to try Garage for their 5th defense, though. They did fairly well on it previously. Of course, I say that they've done well on all of their sites previously, except for that loss just now. See how they do on this Garage this time.
Last time around, it was the roaming top floor for forZe that was really dominant, and FaZe just
they
could
just
not
give up on.
So, and honestly, they were able to walk onto site pretty easily. You know, there was one man, Kama, on the Maestro playing in behind White Van, but outside of that, not a whole lot going on for forZe on site. The roam really just smothering for forZe, and FaZe having a tough time working through it one by one. Ion's going to stick on the Ash. This seems to have helped. I think he got 3 in that round.
Yeah, he was the one to finish things up, clutch it out in the round.
So, FaZe still alive here, as they were on Villa as well. It looked like things were getting out of hand mighty quick against FaZe. They were down 5-2 at one point on Villa, and they stormed their way all the way back and won at 7-5. So at the end of the day, you know, you can't really count FaZe out. They have gone on a streak already. They're going to have to do it again here on Consulate, and they just won't have the advantage of a side necessarily being stronger than the other inherently on the map. Consulate's closer to dead even. Much closer than the last two.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is the 50-50 map.
Yeah.
You never know, though. Obviously, one team could get a bit more lopsided than the other. forZe definitely had a very good start at that. I mean, if it's 50-50, then getting 3 on your defense is about right.
Yeah, so anything after this point for forZe is just icing on top. FaZe here, you really kind of got to call this one back here. You really don't want to be going down at a deficit into the half for the 3rd map in a row.
Yeah, I have a feeling they might not be able to pull it off, though. I feel like forZe just really didn't adapt as well last round as they should have, and they should, in theory, do it better this time, but you never know. Same could be said for FaZe. They've been doing a good job figuring out what they were doing wrong and adjusting it. So I guess still anyone's game either way, but Pasha has been a very effective player, and he's going to stay alive up here for quite a while. It's just a matter of whether or not someone catches him on the angle, and he keeps peeking it un-ADS'd. Oh!
Taking the roam clear slower, but I guess more methodically. Ion's lost a lot of health, and there goes Astro once again, the opening pick for forZe. Super, super valuable. And there goes Cameraman down inside a connector as well. This is getting pretty dire here for FaZe. Another one gunned down by Rask. He'll be down and finished off now by Pasha. Yuna's been down, so it's a technical 1v5 for Mav on the Buck. Yeah, Shockwave's at front door ready to contest this. That's how ready forZe are for this.
They defend upstairs so much better when it's not the bomb site.
Good night. Flawless round for
Look
forZe.
at the collapse coming out. Good job, good job. Now stop clapping.
Well, I apologize because I'm not as familiar with forZe, but whoever second dude is, if you're going from right to left on the bench.
Second dude.
Second dude. I apologize, I don't know your name. I'm just not familiar with your team. That dude was on one on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Like, he was excited, to say the least. Very, very excited. I liked the scream. I liked it a lot.
Probably Pasha. Yeah!
I wouldn't be at all shocked if it was Pasha, honestly.
Yeah.
That dude seems like a character.
I hope to see some interviews with these guys.
I would love to talk to these guys downstairs when we're done.
Yeah, I'm not sure which, if any, speak English. We know that at least quite a few on Empire speak pretty well, so I imagine Shockwave probably, but I don't know.
Yeah, like Joystick and Karzeka can both speak pretty decently in a conversation, so hopefully that we can have some conversation with these guys, get to know them a little bit better, because
absolutely.
This is one showing worthy of getting to know them better.
Something for all of you out there who will be coming to the playoffs later on, whether they win or lose and get there into the playoffs. forZe are likely to still be around, and if you'd like to get to know them as well, you know, try and memorize those faces, keep a lookout for them during the playoffs, so you can say hi to them and ask them some questions and whatnot as well. It's the beauty of coming out to these physical events that you can do that. You don't have to try and at them on Twitter and hope they notice you.
That's the thing, too. Like, everyone at the event is always super willing to talk to anyone.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like we care.
Unless we're literally, like, running over to someone because we're being called by production.
If I'm in a dead sprint, if any of us are in a dead sprint, whether it's player, production, caster,
we probably can't stop.
We probably can't stop, so we're going to ignore you. But if you see any of your favorite players out there and they're just kind of walking by, strolling along, say hi, reach out.
Just don't overwhelm poor Bolo.
True. I feel bad for Jason. He's going to have an interesting day.
Mr. Doty. Pasha playing his aggressive self up here. And Doc for the last round, as of course this is our last defensive round. Who knows, maybe he'll do the same thing on attack after he takes it. But he's been playing this pretty well. I like these crossfires. You got Kama as well working upstairs and Shockwave playing a projector. Just these crossfires upstairs are pretty much denied the top floor as long as that's not the bomb site. Now that they do have to defend it for lobby, this is important. We'll see if Astro will play for the usual balcony.
Well, Cameraman's going to start things off hot onto Pasha, and he was well ready for the jump out this time. Loses half of his health in the engagement, but I mean, you get that opening pick onto Pasha, and all of a sudden things seem a lot more possible for FaZe.
Especially that top floor. Still a minute burned out, not too bad here, but there are 2 other defenders upstairs. Rask is also rotating freely around, as is WTG, so they're taking advantage of this momentum. There still is a Nomad can be setting up air jabs, but WTG actually setting up for a double person run out here. He's using it for the 3 speed of Rask to pull a Clubhouse play here. Just waiting on the edge. He knows where those edges are, because he does this a lot in ranked, I guaranteed.
Yeah, so Cameraman got off the rappel. I think he's waiting for Camera to get back on the rappel, and he's going to hear this as soon as he does.
Just
Question
waiting.
mark? Waiting for it?
I mean, he doesn't have anything else he has to be doing right now, so Rask can be a lot more patient than Cameraman. If only he knew he was on drone right there. Camera's waiting for something. He's waiting for a run out on Yellowstair's door, I think. That's not coming.
He's going to air jab above that. Oh, okay.
All right, someone else found him.
Mav's going to decapitate him as he's just sitting in the middle of the hole in the garage wall. So early 2-man advantage here for FaZe. They're taking 2 minutes to do it, but I mean, this is looking strong. You've lost 2 of your strongest fraggers on the defensive side, in your Doc and your Jaeger in both Pasha and Rask. So at the moment, FaZe seem to be in the driver's seat on the round. They need to try and convert now for a lobby plant, and that's exactly where Yuna will be going, planting just inside the door frame, as Astro will be his cover. And Yuna's taking a little bit of damage now to an Evil Eye. He's just barely, again, going to get that off. So into the post plant now for forZe, and a 4v3 in favor of FaZe. They all start barreling out, and Mav will collect another one on Akama, and it's an even cleaner sweep for FaZe. They'll be able to, again, salvage the half. They walk into it down 4-2 instead of down 5-1. And beautiful shots there from Mav. 3 on the round for him. FaZe, they stay alive, man, no matter what.
forZe really needs to stop those plants from getting down, because as soon as the plants get down, FaZe are tending to be able to cover it and win those rounds, as forZe just tend to rush into them at that point. And that one in particular is very difficult to deal with because of all the attackers being able to play outside at that point. Now things are switching sides, though. We could see this gridlock play here. Should be interesting. Gridlock and Nomad try and lock down those roams because they know how powerful the roams are from the way they were playing them. They have an advantage right now. Anyways, they're actually going to ditch all hard breachers. Must be anticipating that it's top floor. Oh, the Lion finally coming out for realsies this time. We saw it teased a few times. It's going to come out. They're really going to try and lock down this roam. Makes me think they might just go straight for site, try and take out the site players, then just lock it down at that point, try and get the plant down, and then pull out and cover. Could be the way they go for it. I mean, obviously, there's plenty of ways to use those operators, but that's definitely an effective way to use hard roam denial operators.
This is also something we haven't seen a lot from forZe or Empire, which is trying to use some more intricate utility. I mean, I know, I'm saying gridlocks and nomads and lions are intricate, but let's be honest here.
At least gridlock isn't global.
This is well out of the wheelhouse of what we see either Empire or forZe historically doing. I mean, there's obviously not a lot of data on forZe, so you might be able to say, hey, they did this in this qualifier game. Okay.
Yeah, very true.
Empire, however, who we say forZe kind of mimic their playstyle quite a lot, this is a lineup you'll never see coming from Empire.
Yeah.
They stick to the same 5-6 attacking operators every round, regardless of map.
Yeah, it's very true. But this map in particular, Consulate, can lead to some really aggressive defensive plays, and your ability to shut down roamers doing that is pretty useful, you gotta admit.
Absolutely, and that's why they have the Nomad, the Lion, and the Gridlock.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, you want to roam, you want to flank, you want to jump out, no, we're not buying what you're selling.
And the other two operators either throw or shoot grenades. So we've got some good stuff here to help clear out site as well. They just have to clear ADSs first, as there is the Astra on the Jaeger. Setting down an ADS right now as I say that to try and help Mav out. First line EE1D coming out. If they didn't know there was a line, they know now.
This is they do have a mute on their side. Shockwave in first engagement against Ion. He's going to drop him. That was the smoke inside of the bathroom pushing up the yellow stairs. Mav's going to take a lot of damage, and that'll be Shockwave down, but Mav will be finished off by Pasha now. Rask holding for the flank. There's a man inside an antechamber, and yeah, you weren't going to do that. You were never going to get out of there. Yeah. Shockwave will pick himself back up. Cameraman will at least trade off Kama, so health advantage slightly on the side of forZe right now, but Cameraman taking some damage as well. Down to about 35. This is looking like it's well in control here for forZe, but all it really takes is that Alda to get revving, and it could be a nightmare scenario for forZe to throw it away.
Definitely not looking good as Shockwave finds another one, even with his low health. However, Pasha, the one to be finished off next.
Cameraman with a beautiful shot onto Pasha. There's the top spiral barricade. Will get ripped wide open, and it'll be a track stinger from WTG to lock that one down. Rather anticlimactic at the end
Unlucky.
There. But FaZe will drop yet another round. So, for the second consecutive map, they will drop to a 5-2 deficit. And this is, tack timeout FaZe. No big shock there. This is where we saw FaZe completely turn things around on a dime on Villa.
They're going to have to try to do that.
They never really got to that portion on Clubhouse. that was just dead and gone as soon as the map started.
Yeah.
For Villa, it looked like it was going to be the same story. 5-2 deficit. This is looking like it's over. And all of a sudden, FaZe starts steamrolling 5 rounds in a row. It's Consulate. It's doable.
Yeah. I thought it was funny that you were talking about kind of it being intricate playing gridlock or whatever. Yet the final kill was just him, I'm just going to sprint into this field
That's
of
what I'm saying, right?
spikes.
Like it's kind of dumb for me to say that kind of utility intricate.
I just thought it was great.
Yeah, no.
The way that round ended. Fantastic. I mean, we've seen Goo-Mind endings occasionally, but I think that's the first Trax finish I've ever seen, especially on a kill cam. Definitely very useful. I mean, it worked, though, what they were trying to do. You saw them use the first couple Lion E1Ds also to cover rotates and pickups and things like that. You know, you had the downed player of Shockwave. Oh, hey, let's cover him with an E1D so he can get out of there. I think he picked himself up.
Yeah, he
did. By the amount of health he had. And then a second E1D also to be able to cover. That's good use of those. That's very useful. You also give them give yourself a chance to get some map control and then use the gridlock to lock that down. So those two operators work very well together. Will we see Alliance 6th pick too? Nope, but we're going to see a 6th pick to a castle for Lobby here. Should be interesting. I wonder if...
it's not going to last very long.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to put it on the big door.
I mean, you got a Zofia, you got a Sledge, you got a Buck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options here to take down the castle barricades.
Going to make short work of those.
The best opportunity I think you could have for the castle on setting up this site would just be locking down longer sight lines, because forZe have shown quite the propensity to be able to take engagements at long distances and still outmatch your gun skills.
And they're on ACOGs now because they're on attack, so
exactly
it's going to be the case.
Might want to try locking down long lines of sight versus paths of mobility, I guess is the easiest way to compare it.
Yeah, I mean, we've also seen castle barricades used a lot sometimes to just help roamers hang out in certain areas without having to watch multiple angles at the same time. Yes, it doesn't guarantee your safety, but it does make sure that you kind of know what's coming if someone's going to be able to push you, although a Sledge can be very quick and not super loud to tear those down, so you never know. But Echo going to be coming out here from Yuna. That's going to help as well with getting some intel in terms of where they're going to be pushing from, potentially. May also help spot those gridlocks tracks a little bit earlier, so you know what they're trying to lock down at the time. There's one castle barricade kind of helping, I guess. You could just lifeline it down if he cares, though.
You could also just have Pasha upside down repel, smack that thing open, and
plenty of options.
Sword of the sky.
Could even punch it because like there's no one going to shoot your feet when you're doing that.
Exactly.
Here, speaking of upside down repels, Shockwave thankfully throws that just to the side, so throwing the drone didn't necessarily give it away to Ion. He probably heard it, and he's definitely going to see that. So he knows, I'm going to go hide behind the shield now. Astra, in the meantime, taking down Rask, though, and that's the Buck down early. Probably didn't even get a chance to use too many grenades, although he's getting chased on out of there. It's their admin office now. And there is a Doc, and he starts to get healed back up. That's the unfortunate thing about not finishing the kill onto Astro, who still has an ADS in his pocket, actually.
The one that got away, and all it really took was one to get away for FaZe for them to really start rolling on Villa. So for forZe here, missed opportunities could be lethal, and you could be finding yourself with a date with Fnatic tomorrow instead of Dark Zero, again, after being up at the half on all 3 maps. That could be a it could be a not so fun ride or
Real
walk
downer.
back to the hotel.
Yeah. We'll see, though. Possibly plenty of rounds left, or possibly just 2, depending on how these go. But time is dwindling down. It's a minute and a half in, and so far, the only death has been onto the attackers here, with Rask going down. Bit of damage onto Ion that's unhealed as well. Was a close one on Astra, though. I imagine he's going to try and play more aggressive with his second chance of life. Go, you know what? I was supposed to die, so I'm going to play like I already was.
Why not? At this point, like I said, on Villa, swing for the fences, man. What have you got to lose? Because at this point, it looks like what you're typically running isn't working out for you. WTG is going to take some fire from Cameraman coming down spiral stairs as well, and time getting away from forZe here as they've really lost control of the time on this map. And milliseconds too late there for Ion as he rotates in between the track stingers all the way up Visa stairs. They'll at least trade out WTG. So a 4v3 now, still in favor of FaZe, and they still have the Yokais up. They still have a Nitro down below for Ion. This is still not looking great for forZe.
Especially with 30 seconds left here and still too many players outside the building.
Yeah, And they need to find a way to push into the building and quickly and make sure they're not losing their life just pointlessly. And as I say that, just sprinting headstrong in. Shockwave, though, make an entry into Piano. He's the last man standing for his team as Posh will be finished off by Astro. He'll drop down, but it won't even be necessary as Yuna will close that one out. So again, FaZe is the beginning of yet another 5-2 comeback.
Well, if they just go back and forth, that leaves forZe winning.
Yeah.
So you can't just trade back and forth. You
Gotta
need
go on a
multiple
run.
in a row. Yeah. And unfortunately, that also forces you to switch bomb sites. So defenders have a little bit of disadvantage on trying to get multiple rounds in a row because of the way the bomb site switches go. Remember when it used to only be like you couldn't play the same bomb site 2 times in a row and that's it?
Yeah.
Now you had to go to the third one. That was a nice change in keeping things interesting.
It was a very nice change because you'd have maps like Clubhouse where it's like, oh, we're downstairs, oh, we're bar stock, oh,
Yeah.
we're downstairs, oh, we're bar stock.
Sometimes I like to be grateful for the small tweaks we've made over the years, you know?
Remember when Flipside brought out like a cache defense and it was just the most entire internet breaking thing of all time in Pro League? And then the Hibana bug happened and they had to rehost it and redo the round.
You don't even want to remind me of the bug with
No,
the very first season of Latin America.
Yeah.
One of the matches where I think we had 11 rehosts.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that was fun.
That was fun. Sao Paulo was fun. We've come a long way, okay? You might be saying, hey, they're having tech issues today. It's like, yeah, it's been worse.
This is nothing. But they're not rappelling into the wall on Consulate right now, okay? That certainly has happened. They're not defusing the bomb on a different floor than the bomb's actually on. So we're good. We're good right now.
That was on this map, too.
It sure was. That was one of the most confusing casts I've ever had.
I don't know how many times I've seen that clip in my life.
Oh, yeah. I tried.
It's on like all the highlight reels and stuff.
That's
Whatever.
funny.
It's great.
Baffling.
So we still stand at a 5v3 scoreline here, and we're getting a rotation slightly in terms of operators. We still have flank denial from WTG. It just would be a Nomad instead of a Gridlock. And we have Shockwave now going to the IQ. So, and Rask over to a Buck. So I think this is the first time we've ever seen forZe run a Buck. That's interesting. It's really hard to, or sorry, they had a Buck last round. I'm not intelligent. For forZe, though, I think that's it's a good combination to run this much soft destruction, especially on Consulate. And Shockwave implementing a little bit what Astro was feeding them earlier on, which was, I'm going to stand out on top of this plant. If you're trying to run out these windows, I'm going to dome you.
Is he feeding him the plant? I mean, it's worth a try. I like the use of the little small amount of verticality to get up there and get a better angle. Just doesn't pay off this time. But Shockwave going to be running this IQ and trying to get some good intel. It's funny because Shockwave hadn't been really like a high-level fragger in some of the previous maps, but he's actually topping the scoreboards double digits on this particular map. So, you know, it's good to see that he still brought some of that frag power from Empire.
There's a lot of reconstruction from Rask, man.
I'm going to use every bullet in the skeleton key, I swear.
I mean, he's getting after it, which is pretty good. He's opened up a lot of lines of sight that you typically don't have to contend with as a defender, so it might catch a couple of members of FaZe off guard. And all they need is one to be on match point and series point.
Yeah. Well, this is getting a bit delayed, though. It's already a minute 30 into the round. No one's found each other just yet.
Seems like both teams are tightening up quite a lot because they know how much is on the line and how close this has now become. Haven't pushed Cameraman out of meeting room yet either. He's playing behind that deployable shield. It's almost the identical setup that forZe are running, and that's why I said earlier on in the first round of the setup. It seems pretty default. Cameraman's down to about 40 HP now as those impacts come soaring in, and they did prioritize one to just do damage to Cameraman, so I imagine the second one is going to have to be used onto the Evil Eye.
I hope that once the Shockwave clears this room, he places that Claymore outside the window, so there couldn't be any more jump outs or anything on there, so at least he uses that Claymore. I hate to see them sit in a pocket because of how impactful they can be, but Shockwave's patience does pay off as Rask hits it for him. We saw that earlier with another time when Rask came around with a grenade just to save the day on a held angle. Now he can do his job, and again, I wanted to see him set up this Claymore because they're running low on time. If they get the plant down in there, there's going to be jump outs there.
Narrowly evading a frag grenade there was Ion inside a connector, and he's going to try and smoke close through the wall for the plants. Not sure that's even where the attention is going, but they both have a Maestro and an Echo here for plant denial. The flashbangs come soaring in, and Ion's going to smoke it off, make sure no one can come in for the close wall plant. Flashbang still disorienting Ion inside of connector, and time running low here for forZe. They're all going to have to barrel into the objective. Now Kama going for the coast plant here, and Ion doesn't read it properly. Looking for the Echo drones now, and all they have really is the Echo drones and the Evil Eye. That Echo drone escapes now into the overtime as the diffuser is on the ground. We're going to end the round with 7 people alive. Too much time wasted for forZe, and FaZe continue to battle back in situations where it looks like they have no hope.
Maybe forZe at this point just need to go all gunning. Just pick 3 speed gunners and just see if you can go ham for a round.
At this point, yeah.
Just because like they're getting too stalled out on the strats, trying to clear rooms, play objective, things like that. I mean, I'm not usually one to encourage doing anything but playing objective, but I mean, with a team like FaZe, the way they're playing right now, they can be pretty aggressive on these defenses. They're not really being slowed down on doing so, and you're just burning a lot of time trying to pick them off individually. Maybe that'd be the play, especially on Garage, right? You have the old rush through the Visa hatch. Just pop down there, rush cafeteria, go in guns blazing. Heck, bring a Capitao with a, oh no, he's finally banned for once. Bring a Finka with the LMG. I'm just thinking LMGs.
Yeah.
I guess if you're running the IQ anyways, just bring the IQ LMG. Just go crazy on it. Shockwave there up there with 11, as I was mentioning earlier. He's the only one on double digits doing some good work for his team, but everyone on forZe has really been showing up. WTG has maybe had a few more rough patches than some of the other players, but I gotta say, we haven't seen enough forZe to really get to kind of know the players very well, as you were mentioning earlier, but I really feel like this match is really helping me get to know them individually a lot better with how many plays we're seeing from these guys, how just good each one of them is, depending on the particular situation they end up in. But at the same time, we already know how good FaZe is, so it's not a ton of surprise there. But despite how dominant the very first map was, I gotta say I'm surprised we've gone this far. We're getting close to a potential overtime on map 3. I did not think that would be coming after what we saw map 1. And even most of map 2.
Yeah, really. And it's the same story here for FaZe. They've put themselves in a tough position all 3 maps. They've been able to battle back at a 1, nearly battle it all the way back to an even scoreline here on map number 3. It's a Clubhouse that was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah.
That never ended.
Well, hopefully this one doesn't go too long here. Of course, everyone's getting tired at this point, even the players who may not have been playing this whole time, but I imagine they were trying to practice if they could, and they had to get up pretty early as well. They're not going to sleep in super late on days like this, so I imagine a lot of them also watching earlier, trying to plan things, do some last-minute thinking.
So Shockwave is able to push out the hold inside of CEO momentarily from FaZe there. I believe that was Cameraman. No, it was Astro, sorry. It was Astro on the Jaeger that was upstairs inside of CEO, and no Jackal being run either. You think that might be a difference maker as well? Bring the smokes, bring the tracks, bring the C7 as well.
I mean, especially on this map, like it's just the roam is definitely difficult to control. And it's funny that they'd given up on the gridlock when it was actually, it even dealt the final blow one round.
So forZe struggling a little bit, but they will get their piano control momentarily. They're gonna have to clear out bathroom. Pasha's angling in to do just that. That's all that's really left to contest with inside of piano, but they've burnt half the round on the roam clear so far for forZe, and Kama's just waiting for someone to get that piano control to blow open the floor, to get the crap off the wall so that he can go and blow it wide open.
Yeah, again, a lot of time being burnt, and Shockwave getting 1 kill definitely is going to help with that. That is a C4 off the board if it wasn't already detonated in the explosion we heard. But they need to get that garage going. Shockwave at least able to run around piano now, get some good intel. Gonna start doing that, but this is a lot of time they burned. They also have a pulse still in play here. He's gonna be able to get a lot of idea on how things are being played out. So, along with the Echo, this could be a big problem. At least they have the IQ to spot the yokais, but with such little time left, they don't have a ton of time to be able to actually counter them, which could be the biggest problem. They need that IQ on task here. And Rask on task. WTG, I mentioned earlier, not showing up as much, but he did this round already. That's Yuna down. Big pick, because that's the Echo.
So it's all down to Astro and Ion now. The Jaeger and the smoke. Astro on a flank now. Top of yellow stairs. Going to be condensing onto 1, and there goes Shockwave, ripping right back down to pipes into safety. But on the fall, Kama will catch him off. So now it's all Ion alone, and he'll be dispatched of by WTG. It is match point. It is series point. It took a lot longer to get here than we all thought.
It's certainly a good point.
This could be forZe closing it out, or it could be FaZe pushing us into overtime.
It certainly could be. This is definitely not over yet. FaZe have shown they can make that comeback. forZe just need to keep it up. I mean, yes, they haven't won a lot of attack rounds, but hey, neither did FaZe. And that's why in the situation we are in now, it's tricky. It did take them a long time to get that going in that last round in terms of taking control. It took them 2 minutes to really have a solid hold on piano. and start to get things open. But, you know, once they did, it seemed like a lot of members of FaZe just kind of fell into place, pushed when they maybe shouldn't have, got a little over-aggressive, hoping to take advantage. Because, you know, sometimes when teams get set up for the execute, they kind of stall out for a second, getting everyone in position, getting set up. Sometimes it does pay off to have aggression right then. Say, they're going to be just in the middle of setting up. Let's just push them. Because we can't. That's not always a bad idea. It just doesn't always work either.
Looks like it's going to come down to the very final few rounds here of possibility here in our best of 3 between FaZe and forZe.
As you say, in regulation?
In regulation.
I learned that.
Before we go to overtime. It's a hockey term.
I know. I figured that's what I figured. First thing I thought was, that's got to be a hockey term.
It's a hockey term. It's a hockey term.
Never heard it before.
I actually use a lot of hockey terms in casting. I don't think many people pick up on them, though, because, you know, the hockey is not very popular, at least in America.
It is if an American team's doing really well.
There you go.
Just like all sports in America. If we're doing well in soccer, all of a sudden everyone has soccer fever.
So, backs against the wall here for FaZe. It's do or die for the next few rounds if they can persevere on, or they're going to be wrapped up. Not as easily as we all thought it was going to be after map number 1, but still same result, even if it took a little bit longer. Ion, yeah, well beyond the arc on that one, and it's going to come up as an air ball. No one landing on that one.
Mute Jammer still in his pocket, too. A little bit of slacking going on. I also saw a ADS still in the pocket of the Jaegers. Well, what were they doing during setup?
Looks like they're still setting up. More than 30 seconds into the round. We've still got ADS going down, Mute Jammers going down, kill holes being opened up by shotguns. It's a it's quite the intricate setup here for FaZe, and it's taken them a long time to get it all together the way they want it, but it seems like everyone finally has given up their restless leg syndrome and anchored down.
Not poor Pasha. He's never given it up. Shockwave, though, going to give up Ion's life. That failed C4 earlier. All for naught, as he is finally finished off. Rask again going to town. Oh, I like the Buck Sledge combo. Let's destroy this map.
Just ripping it wide open like a map teardown. So a frag grenade will be used to blow open the castle barricade. Doesn't do any damage to anyone else, though. It looks like there might have been a member of FaZe close by. I think that was Cameraman that ripped up spiral stairs, playing prone, waiting for anyone to push out a vending machine. But forZe have this interesting strategy they've been employing a couple rounds now. When attacking from admin over, they get 2 copy, they get 2 vending machine, and then they never push all the way through. They get their kills from the rappel, and they just apply pressure from long angles. Yeah. Versus almost every other team in the face of the planet.
You play down long desk, you play towards projector door.
You continue to push beyond vending machines.
Yeah.
It's an interesting strategy that FaZe are constantly anticipating a push through, and it never comes.
Yeah. And they've got to watch for it, too. Ooh, nice attempt. Did that even hit him?
Nope.
That's not great for Mav. There. Oh, it missed as well, or didn't trigger. He didn't gain any health from that.
Nope.
Maybe he hit the backpack.
I think he hit the piano.
That's not great.
I think it's...
Maybe there's a hitbox in the middle of that piano that you just can't tell.
There is sometimes. There's weird things that happen.
Well, he's out of stim pistols now, so Maestro's just going to have to fight it. He did finally get healed with the final one, it looks like, though.
It's like Pasha's got a drone on Astro, but Astro still collects the kill onto Rask. Unit's taking a lot of damage inside of piano in the process and trying to bully their way into the objective. And everyone on forZe dropping like flies right now. WTG will at least trade one back onto Cameraman. And the collapse coming from Mav now as he's trying to push in from the hallway. Astro will take down WTG. It's all Pasha alone now. Try and wrap this thing up. It's 25 seconds and he has to rotate from the top floor down. Heading towards spiral stairs. One person will hit an air jab, sprinting straight through, and the railing catches all the bullets in the mag. FaZe continue to press on.
Oh boy.
It looked like it was going to be all forZe that round off of the start there. The health advantage and the utility well on the side of forZe, but as they all start tunneling into the objective, they drop one by one.
This is not going to be over anytime soon, is it? These guys are going the distance here, although it has been a bit more back and forth, so I think it's still pretty plausible that this ends in a 7-5, I think. You never know. They are going console, so again, we're going to see that top floor attack. Probably going to see that when you were talking about the admin push that they do. Mm-hmm. But maybe at this point, FaZe are used to it. So,
I mean, they dealt with it pretty well last time, and the time burnt for forZe the last time they tried to push onto this site. Mm-hmm. The round ended. Time expired with 7 people still alive. Granted, there were 2 people downed. They're still alive.
That's what matters.
70% of the lobby was still alive when the timer hit 0. That's kind of shocking. That's a lot of time wasting on the side of forZe right there.
Yeah, definitely not the best way to play it. The only time that many people should be left alive in lobby is when it's a matchmaking lobby. In this case, that's what it seemed like, because everyone finally got matchmade towards the end there. 13 though for Shockwave. He's still trucking along with those numbers. No one else even at 9 yet. So he's still leading the pack. But this could be over soon before anyone else can catch up. Or we could see 3 more rounds after this. Again though, I believe the starting defense likely will be forZe. I'm not entirely sure on the decider map. I didn't really get a chance to check, but if it is, you know, they could be at a decent advantage. They seem to do a bit better on their defense than on their offense, as that's where they ended the 4-2. So, hard to say.
I think for decider, it's whoever didn't ban the last map picks the side for starting, which is the other team.
It confuses me so much. I just go off of what's written down.
It's a complicated scenario. It looks like forZe right now are going for a yellow push, and quite the heavy yellow push at that. You had 4 members of forZe all stacked outside the yellow stairs door. Kama's going to head to the roof as well, waiting for any rotates to the bathroom rotate. And none such happening right now for FaZe. The remaining 3 members of forZe at the base of the yellow stairs will press on, though. Get some quick piano control. Shockwave pushing all the way up yellow stairs, and last time around he's able to dome Ion inside a bathroom, but there's no rotate this time around. Ping's coming out as he's playing close behind the deployable shield. Lord, you wish you had a Capitao in this scenario, because Ion wouldn't last very long there, but the wide peak will drop 50 HP off of Shockwave at range with that shotgun. Pasha on the upside down repel outside of the bathroom window. He still has reinforcements to contend with, and his ADS is now being burnt out. Ion in a struggle, but he's doing a good job of holding this off.
Yeah, 2 gas cans left as well, but 2 minutes to try and hold those off, and losing all those ADSs already. While he's been doing a good job, there's so much time left for forZe to play with, but not Shockwave.
Yeah, Ion down to about 10 HP. You'd like to see Mav try and go for the heal up here for him, but I don't think he's even remotely within range. He does get it, actually. He gets them both. Finally. So Ion back up to nearly 100 HP. He's going to smoke off yellow stairs again as Kama's been disoriented by the Echo drone. Ion taking a lot of damage once again, but Mav will be there for the saving grace, and Ion pushing down yellow stairs.
This is
Rastafal, Pasha next. It's the Mav and Ion show for FaZe as they continue to run this back. Looks like we're going into overtime on map 3.
WTG, though, doesn't want that to happen anytime soon. All of his air jabs already put out. He's got ammo to burn here, but 4 to find, one of them an Echo as well to be able to get intel for his team. And that's it. That's the end of regulation as we go into OT here. We'll find out who gets the defending side first.
So, Clubhouse was a bit of a wipe, but we needed 12 rounds to get through Villa. We need more than 12 to get through Consulate. It'll be forZe taking attack timeout because,
now's a good time.
Yeah. So on Villa, you almost threw away the 5-2 lead. On Consulate, you did throw away the 5-2 lead.
Yep.
Gonna need to talk that one through.
Absolutely. I gotta imagine both teams getting a bit exhausted as well. And that's definitely going to affect your ability to close things out because you really need to be kind of on top of it when you're trying to close it out. And that's a struggle. But this is the team, also forZe, that lost to Chaos, made it through the losers bracket real quick to come back and beat Chaos. Although, to be fair, they didn't have to play all the maps because of Vitality's internet problems, forcing a bit of a forfeit. So, some contingent factors there. But at the same time, they came back and they beat Chaos. So they've shown they have some stamina there because Chaos was the one that was well rested, whereas forZe was coming fresh off their game against Vitality and still managing to close it out against a very difficult team. But I think if anything, forZe have shown they can play with the best. Whether or not they win, we'll see, but they're definitely there. Honestly, if forZe go down a loser's bracket somehow out of this, I don't think they'll stay there. They've just been playing so phenomenal today, and it's just been such a great debut for them. It's going to make Empire proud. I imagine if they look over, pride in their countrymen. Sneak over to the Echo. So we do have it for sure now that FaZe is starting defense. So that gives some advantage to FaZe here if they can carry that momentum from those last 2 rounds into their next defense. This could happen here. But I've seen plenty of times where for some reason just the trends and streaks are broken as soon as the overtime happens, even though the side switches are maybe still in the same order. Somehow things just change mentally. forZe did just have their tactical timeout as well. So that's going to be a factor. See if it makes them a little bit stronger. They do need to take out Mav early, though. Having the Doc left has definitely been helping a bit because he's definitely been healing people. We always joke sometimes that a lot of times we don't see Docs getting a chance to use their stim pistols because they're too busy peeking and then dying. We're definitely been seeing Docs get heals on this map today. Whether from either team, really, because Pasha was also playing a very good Doc who was getting heals off as well. So it shows why they're picking him over Rook. Despite the additional armor you get, armor don't help too much for headshots.
Also wouldn't have helped a whole lot with the amount of bullets that Ion took playing behind his deployable. I mean, he probably took about 200 damage in that
That's very true.
flurry of engagements. And
Yeah, better to have the Doc in that case.
exactly. So you're going to try and keep Ion alive as you did last time. And yeah, forZe abandoning the yellow stairs take, going back for the admin push. I can understand why after last round. Yeah.
Yellow stairs takes are not great, generally.
They're pretty good. I like the yellow stairs take anyway.
I always cracks me up when I see the Monty ones.
Those are troublesome, yeah.
Just because it's like goo mine the heck out of the stairs and then smoke it, and he's just like walking through a train of pain.
I think the difference between the two is the yellow stairs takes are much more simplified. You really just kind of got to win your gunfights there. There were 2 chances for Kama and Shockwave to win the gunfight and land a headshot on Ion, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And that kind of stalled things out. The admin takes a little more involved, and it stalls out a lot of the time.
That and the Doc, of course, helped out a little bit.
Exactly.
Well, the admin take well underway, not being contested at all, but it did still take almost a minute and a half to get in here. They've got the long angle opened up. Was that opened up by the defenders?
Looks like it.
So they are starting to get that control. Nice lobby cam there as well. Shockwave, so he can kind of safely enter. Astro, though, on the rotate here, could sneak on up to Visa stairs. In the meantime, though, it looks like he might have caught an air jab. WTG had set up.
So Astro gonna take down the air jab, you know, just in case he needs to flank up Visa stairs later. But I mean, deceptively quick round yet again. 5v5, under 75 seconds left in the round, and FaZe looked to be in a good spot there. Astro's had free mobility downstairs the entire time. He's going to make it all the way back to the site as the rest of forZe set up and try and push into the objective. And yeah, cameraman was not long for this world on a drone there, getting stunned, shocked. Pasha with another one as Astro tries to aggress onto him. So now it's a 5v3 advantage once again for forZe. Will they throw this one away?
They actually have some time to work with, though.
They do. Just about 45 on the clock, and they're going to start bringing out the drones just to make sure. These rounds are oh so crucial. You don't want to be throwing away your overtime rounds and have to win 2 consecutively. Looks like the smokes are going to come out now, but Mav going to be picked apart from the A balcony from Shockwave. This is all the advantage you need right now if you're forZe. FaZe have Yuna and Ion left. 1 smoke grenade remaining. The stuns into connectors. The plant attempting to go down, but Ion will stop it dead in its tracks. Kama to fall from a headshot. And now choking on the gas will be Ras. He tries to get rid of the Yokai drone. Seeing the hand there, but can't land the shots. Finally, Ion will fall at the hands of Shockwave. It's Yuna alone in a 1v4 as the plant is going down from Pasha. All the pings from the Echo drones won't be enough. forZe once again send us to match point and series point.
Well done by forZe. Such a great execution. That was the attack we weren't seeing a lot of those attack rounds they were having. And that's what I mean. Sometimes when we go into the OT, things just somehow shape. But they also did just have their tactical timeout. And I think that was a factor as well. They made some adjustments that clearly worked. Better time management that time as well. It did get down to the wire a little bit towards the end, but they had much more pushing power early on when it was still 50 seconds left. And that makes a huge difference there. Now they're going to be on defense on Garage. This could be enough to close it out here. Not going to be easy for FaZe to try and take this. Even if they do, they've got to win 1 more round after just to win.
So Pasha's going to go for a 6-pick off of a Doc, which we would typically see him on, to an operator without an ACOG, a Mozzie. That's surprising.
You know, I still think it's a very useful operator on this site. No reason not to use it if you know how you want to set it up. Particular, for example, you want to set it up on, you can set one by the yellow stairs door, so they've got to open it first for the drone yellow stairs. You can set one by the drone hole leading towards the black car next to Garage, so that they can't drone in there easily. Those aren't necessarily the most effective, but if you can kind of set those up at the right time, they won't anticipate those, because they want to drone those spots. They need to drone those spots. Catch some easy freebies that you can use for additional intel. I mean, the Valk being banned and the Mira being banned, it's like Mozzie or Echo for intel at that point, or maybe even Pulse. But I don't know. I feel like maybe the Pulse even a better play. Still doesn't get an ACOG, but I don't know. At least they have the Maestro though to provide that additional intel. Actually, you know, Pasha should have gone with the Echo. So he could have played the ACOG and had whatever. But you know what? He gets in too many fights. I don't know if it would have mattered too much for him to be the Echo, but he could set those drones up and then just get fights. And then, hey, here's some fights right here. Kama winning 2 of them, Astro winning 1 more before that as well. And now it's Shockwave and Rap. All right, guess what? They won. Game over. What a round. Thanks for ending that quickly, guys. So fast, Flynn is just flabbergasted. He turns away for half a second to look at me and looks back at half the team.